Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. If you could let me know, if the voice is audible and it's clear to hear, inshallah. Okay, that's good to hear. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So recently, some questions were asked to an individual called Usama al-Utaybi, and basically it was concerning Ruhaili, Bazmul, Saudi, UN, stuff of that like. And in all honesty, when I heard it, I was like, it's a bit of a waste of a time. It might be a waste of time to even go through this matter, because I've clarified many of the issues already before. Nothing new was really said, apart from statements of ignorance that were made. And I thought, you know what? Let me just do this live. Let me just respond to some points that were made. And let me clarify some things even more, because clearly the state of many individuals, whether they are in Saudi Arabia or out of Saudi Arabia, is that they actually do not understand the realities of what's going on in the world. And then certain people are going to hear this statement, and then they're going to go back to their shuyukh, as they say. They're going to go back to their shuyukh, and they're going to say, someone in Britain, he said that you guys don't know the reality. And the moment a certain individual hears this statement, boom, the first thing, it's not that maybe he could be telling the truth, maybe that he could be speaking the truth, maybe what he's actually saying is the haqq. That's not really the initial response that these people will give. The moment they hear someone saying, these people don't know the reality of what's actually going on, they will take it as an insult, okay? And then they will fight back, and then they will give you labels. They will say, we've heard this before, they say that the ulama, that they only know about al-hayd, matters concerning like the women's menses, and they don't really know the waqi'. And we heard this before in 20 years ago. We heard this during the time of Afghanistan and Al-Qaeda and Boko Haram and all of this. We heard this back then. But the issue is, these individuals, they don't have the capability to actually understand, wait a second, maybe the person is speaking the truth. Because when I hear something, is the individual speaking the truth or not? Even if it's against your own nafs, is it the truth? Yes or no? Is it the truth? But the individuals, they don't ask, is this the truth? It's, I already heard that statement made by some deviant person 20 years ago, so I'm going to automatically label this person a deviant because someone 20 years ago who's a deviant said it. It's not, what is that person speaking the truth or not? Is the matter that this person is saying, is it the haqq or not? Because what are we talking for? We're talking to clarify the truth. We're talking to strengthen the truth. What are we living for? We're living to clarify the truth and spread the truth. The truth is from Allah, so we should give aid and support to the truth. We accept the truth wherever it comes from. For example, when Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu was speaking to the jinn, the shaitan, what did the Prophet say? He spoke the truth. The truth is taken even if it comes from the shaitan, okay, even if it comes from the person who commits zina day and night, even if the person injects themselves with drugs, okay, even if the person commits shirk day and night, even if the person kills 90 million people from the mankind, even if the person commits all the evils that you can fathom and think and contemplate, if he speaks the truth, it is obligatory upon you to take. It is obligatory for you to take the truth. It is obligatory for you to go and take the truth. But the issue with many people around the world today, due to ignorance, due to compound ignorance, you know what? We'll speak about Jahl Murakkab very soon. There's an in-depth, grained, compound ignorance within certain individuals which needs to be clarified. The first point isn't, is the person speaking the truth? It's, I've heard that deviant say it, he's a deviant. Whoever says this is a Khariji. Whoever says that is a Khariji. They are not even trying to understand and trying to fathom, is this the haqq or not? And that is one issue that we need to clarify. That's one issue we need to clarify, because a lot of these people, they fall into, what do they fall into? Taqleed, blind following. Their shuyukh, like the Rafida, they will hold their shuyukh and the statements of their shuyukh. They don't care about whether it's the truth or not. They don't care about, wait, is this actually attacking the truth? Is this actually, they don't care about, is this actually attacking the truth? My sheikh said this, so this is the truth, and I will take whatever the sheikh says. Not, is the sheikh actually speaking the truth or not? And because there's this lack of love for the truth, there's this lack of understanding the truth, there's this lack of placing the truth above everyone, because of this, people fall into taqleed, they fall into ignorance, they fall into evil and corruption, they fall into attacking the people of truth and labeling them. Not that their labels actually mean anything in reality. They label them thinking that their labels actually mean anything. The people of truth have had labels against them since the time, from the time of the Salaf till now. They've been having labels against them, whether it's from the Asha'ira, whether it's from the other people of Rafida, how many labels after labels after labels. The truth has still been carrying on. The truth has still been going on since then till now. Labels have not stopped anything from stopping the truth. The labels do not harm, but they will label and label and label and label. Why do they label? Because it's very easy to label an individual and not actually clarify the truth. It's very easy to say this person's a Khariji and not actually clarify. And the actual truth and reality is, a large majority of these people that talk about the Khawarij, they actually do not understand the Khawarij. A large majority of these people that talk about Ikhwanis, they actually don't even understand the Ikhwanis. A large majority of these people that like to give labels to other individuals and like to defend falsehood under the guise of the truth, don't even understand the matters that they're defending, but they will talk so confidently and they will talk so brazenly, and then that is it, khalas. And that's how evil spreads. That's how falsehood becomes stronger. That's how the heads of the disbelievers, yes, they don't understand Hizbiyah as well, very truthful, they do not understand Hizbiyah, but that is how falsehood strengthens, spreads, and the people of corruption gain strength and power, and they gain influence over the people. Because when you have people that are dumb in these matters and regards, and they talk so brazenly as if they know, when they actually don't, the evil that comes out from this is actually far more than the good that comes out from this. And this is something that we need to clarify, just so that people do not fall into blind following. And it's funny because they think Salafi, Salafiyah. When you look at the Salaf and you actually understand the Salaf, and you actually understand what's going on in the world today, and you actually understand the corruption of the world today, and then you actually understand these individuals and their mindsets and their behaviors and their characteristics, it's almost pitiful when they go around Salaf, 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 Salaf. Wallahu al-musta'an. So, the first issue that was spoken about was regarding Al-Ruhayli. Al-Ruhayli, Al-Sheikh, Sulaiman Al-Ruhayli, the Sheikh from Medina and this and this. The issue that was spoken about was him going to Morocco. And then the guy basically says, oh yeah, it's permissible. Usama al-Utaybi said, yeah, it's permissible for him to go to that. He's advising, You know, he went to advise and clarify the truth. You know, he didn't call to bid'ah. You know, it's funny because these people claim to be Salafis, yeah? And that they understand sitting with the people of bid'ah, and that they understand the matter of sitting with the people of bid'ah. But when it comes to one of their own people sitting with the people of bid'ah, then the principles all become wishy-washy. It's crazy. Because their principles, if I was to take their principles in regards to what happened with Ar-Ruhaili in Morocco with the Asha'ira, then any one of us could then go and sit with the people of bid'ah under the guise of advising and clarifying the truth, and under the guise of a legislative benefit, a maslaha, a shar'i maslaha, a shar'i benefit, a legislative benefit. We can all just go with this wishy-washy principles that they've brought about in regards to sitting with the people of bid'ah. Then we can just go and sit with the people of bid'ah and then just use these same principles. The whole aspect of not sitting with the people of bid'ah is then broken due to their own principles. He says that Ar-Ruhaili, he didn't call to his bid'ah and he didn't advise with it. I can go and sit with the people of bid'ah and not call to bid'ah and say this is the Salafi manhaj, this is this, and I'll sit with them. And bear in mind, we'll go into this conference in depth here. I can just sit with any people of bid'ah, yeah, and just say, yeah, this is Salafi, this is Salafi that, this is Salafi that, and I'm just sitting with him. And when people say, oh, you're sitting with the people of innovation and heresy, we're going to warn against you, I'm going to say, no, I didn't call to bid'ah. No, I didn't call to bid'ah. I didn't advise with the bid'ah, no. It's sufficient enough that the people are already sitting with them. It's sufficient enough that they are sitting with them. But that aspect isn't spoken about. So they give these washy-washy principles and conditions. Allah knows best where they got these conditions from. He said he went there to advise. What was he advising? Who is he advising? Because firstly, this, and another point is they mention Al-Albani, Al-Fawzan, Al-Rabi', Ibn Baz. They went to the people of bid'ah and they advised the people of bid'ah and they went to their masjids. You see, look, they try to mix the truth and falsehood together. Now, I'll give you an example. Rabi', he went to Sudan. He went to a masjid of the Sufis. And he advised them, he clarified them, he clarified their bid'ah, he clarified the truth, he warned against their bid'ah, he spoke the truth. Now when you look at Ruhaili, firstly, this is not like going to a masjid of the people of bid'ah. This is a conference that was brought about by Saudi Arabia and Morocco. Saudi Arabia and Morocco, they came together and they started this nadwa. It's called a nadwa. You know what a nadwa is? It's a seminar. It's a seminar. So everyone has their timepiece to talk, okay? It's a timepiece to talk. There's conditions to this seminar. Certain people will talk about certain topics. Other people will talk about other topics. There's subcategories of this hour, this person will talk about this subcategory, and this hour, that person will talk about that subcategory. That is not the same as going to the masjids of the people of bid'ah and clarifying their bid'ah in front of them, clarifying their bid'ah in front of them, and how they are upon falsehood, and that they are upon corruption, and that this is what the truth is. No, that's not the case here. This is a seminar that came from Saudi Arabia and Morocco. And you know what's hilarious? What I find funny is, because these people lack the knowledge of what's actually going on in the world, they don't even understand what is going on in this nadwa, this seminar that Ruhaili went into. So let's go and look into this seminar that Ruhaili went into. The seminar is titled Contemporary Scientific Efforts to Combat Extremism, al-Ghulu, to combat extremism and achieve moderation. Al-Wasatiyya, Al-Ghulu and Al-Wasatiyya. These are the two matters, extremism and moderation. I've already clarified what extremism is before, and I've already clarified what moderation is. I've clarified these in my previous lives. If the people still do not understand what extremism and moderation means, according to the Saudi state and according to the Moroccan state, if you do not know what extremism means, then I will clarify it for you, inshallah. So the Saudi state, Morocco, they come together. Then they have this conference, seminar, and the seminar is called Combating basically extremism and achieving moderation. So does Ar-Ruhaili
define what extremism and moderation is? Or do the ones who came up with this seminar and led this seminar and brought about this seminar? Or is it them? Is it the Saudi state and Morocco who define what extremism and moderation is? Because they're the ones who made this seminar, not Ruhaili. Ruhaili didn't wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm going to go and then we'll make a seminar with the Ash'ari. He didn't wake up, no. So it's the Saudi state that defines extremism and moderation, and it's the Moroccan state that defines extremism and moderation. So when we understand what the definitions of extremism and moderation is, Ruhaili's talking is useless. It's absolutely useless. The Ash'ari talking in that conference is absolutely useless. When you understand what extremism and moderation means, then you already know what the whole purpose of that seminar is. Ruhaili being there is absolutely useless. No, he's not advising people, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that khair. These people don't seem to understand that this is called mixing the truth with falsehood. So the truth, let's say Ruhaili speaking the truth, yeah? He's talking about Tawheed, he's talking about the Sunnah, the truth. But what is the falsehood? The falsehood is the definition of extremism and moderation. That is the falsehood. The falsehood is that apparently, quote unquote, apparently, the Salafis and the Ash'ari are both fighting extremism and that they are both trying to establish moderation. That is the most craziest, dumbest, stupidest, ikhwaniest thing I've ever heard, that apparently the Salafis and the Ash'aris are both fighting extremism. How does that make sense to you? Because in the eye of the Ash'ari, the Salafi is an extremist. And in the eye of the Salafi, the Ash'ari is an extremist. So how in the right mind are these two people apparently fighting against extremism? It's because they're not fighting against extremism. The reality is they both went to a seminar that is under the state of Morocco and under the state of Saudi, and the state of Saudi and the state of Morocco both define extremism and moderation to be the same way. That is why. It's because they are what? They are united in their definitions. The Ash'aris and the Salafis may not be united in extremism, but the Saudi state and the Moroccan state, they are united in the definition of extremism and moderation. Because do you know where the definition for extremism and moderation comes from? It comes from the United Nations. It comes from the United Nations. I've already done a live about this. I've spoken to you about how they've written about extremism. I've already told you about their definitions and how they define these terms. I've already spoken about this matter before, but clearly it hasn't gone through into certain people's minds, nor have they understood, and they talk with ignorance, and they think their labels actually means anything. They talk for 50-something minutes, a waste of time. It was truly a waste of time. But hopefully, I have to use that time to be of benefit. And this is inshallah going to be the benefit. So what Ruhaili did, he went and he sat with the Ash'ari, apparently to fight against extremism and to establish moderation. Now, the Ash'ari and Salafis both fight each other. How can you both sit together to establish moderation? That's the dumbest thing. That is the dumbest thing. But the reason why they brought the Ash'ari and they brought the so-called Salafis, quote unquote Salafis, the reason why they brought them together in that one conference is because they can then go out to the world and say to the world, look, the Ash'ari and the Salafis, they've been brought together and they're fighting against extremism. They're united in fighting against extremism. They're united in fighting against that. Do these people not even understand what's going on? The Ash'aris and the Salafis are united in fighting against extremism. That is the funniest thing that I may have heard. Wallahu al-musta'an. This is what you call mixing the truth with falsehood. It's mixing the truth with falsehood. Did Ruhaili, okay, firstly, did he go? But this is under a seminar. He went under a seminar. He went under the title of a seminar. He went under the state. He didn't go to Morocco, and he didn't go to a masjid that is an Ash'ari masjid in Morocco and tell the Ash'aris in Morocco that you guys are upon falsehood, that you guys are upon corruption, that you people are the real extremists. You are the ones who are Ahlul Ghulu, wa Tatarruf, and all of these matters. You are the true extremists. He didn't go and say that. He didn't say that you guys in reality do not truly believe in Allah because of how you deal with His Asma and Sifat. He didn't go and mention all of this. No, he didn't. He didn't mention that. He did not go and mention that. So there's no thing as, oh, he went to clarify the truth. No. He's saying the Prophet was against extremism. Of course the Prophet was against extremism. The Ash'ari believes that as well. When you talk a certain manner, you talk a certain way, of course you can bring people of corruption and so-called people of truth together. If you say, oh, the Prophet was against extremism, yeah, the Ash'ari will say 100%. 100% the Prophet was against extremism. But then again, define what extremism is. You guys can't define it. Ruhaili, you can't define what extremism is. Those random Ash'aris that were in that seminar, they can't define what extremism is. You guys actually don't have a say in this matter. Your little tools that are put about so that you can push forward in a certain agenda. You can't define what extremism is, Ya Ruhaili. You can't define what extremism is or moderation. That's why you guys are going to come out and say, oh, the Prophet was against extremism. The Ash'ari is going to say, yep, the Prophet was against extremism. Oh, the Prophet called for moderation. And then the Ash'ari will say, yes, the Prophet called for moderation. But you guys don't define any of these terms. You just talk and talk and talk and talk. You do not have the right to define terms. And that's what these people don't understand. They don't understand that they're so dumb that they're being used as tools and they have no power to actually define it. Imagine Ruhaili, he went to that seminar and he said, this scientific effort to combat extremism, he went and said extremism actually means what you people are upon, what you Ash'aris are upon, what you Ash'aris believe. And what moderation is what the Salafis are upon, and what the Salafis believe in Allah's Asma and Sifat, and all of these matters. This is what moderation is. That the Sharia is moderation. That keeping away from the United Nations is moderation. And that turning away from human rights is moderation. And that fighting against the people of disbelief and corruption is moderation. This is what the seminar is actually meant. He didn't go and say that. So don't come to me and tell me, oh, he went with people and he's advising them, he's speaking the truth, and he didn't. Such, you know, it's like such foolery. Wallahu musta'an, it's such foolery. So, talking about this whole matter of, you know, Ar-Ruhaili, the Asha'ira, and this and this, the whole point of me speaking about these individuals is not that you get bogged down onto names and individuals, because these people are somewhat almost worthless in the grand scheme of things. They're somewhat worthless due to their ignorance, due to how they're easily being used. They're just somewhat worthless. The only reason why I mention them is a point of benefit, so you don't become easily misled and you don't fall into hizbiyah, you don't fall into names, you don't fall into these certain aspects. Because I'm telling you, the thing that actually is influential, the ones who are defining extremism and moderation, it's not Ruhaili and these people. It's the ones who are defining this. And you know what? Let's go and see the definition of extremism according to the Saudi state. This is from, what's their face again? Give me a second. This is from Markaz al-Harb al-Fikri. Markaz al-Harb al-Fikri. Do you not even know that name? Markaz al-Harb al-Fikri. This is the Center for Intellectual Warfare. It's a Ministry of Defense affiliate of Saudi state. The Saudi state's defense military is affiliated to the Markaz al-Harb al-Fikri, which is the intellectual warfare. They changed the name now to something that sounds a bit more sweeter and nicer, but this is their original name. We'll go and see how these groups of people defined extremism. I'm not going to play this because it's got music on, but you can see the words. You can see the words. So let's start quickly. Give me a second. So this is extremism and reclusion. Extremism originates in a closed environment that fails to recognize the Creator's wisdom, natural variance, and diversity, especially through misinterpreting historical texts and events. Extremism relied on a narrow-minded view that neither recognizes the nature of creation nor the needs of humanity. Humanity's frailty and legitimate needs are met. The need for coexistence between nations and people is met with fear, hatred, racism, and fueling of cultural conflict. Hatred, remember, keep that word hatred in your mind. The methodological deviation has inevitable consequences clearly manifested in extremism, words and deeds. Extremism in all its forms is founded on deviant intellectual isolation that is fed by a doctrine of hatred, malice, and engaging all factions to historical arguments credited to their originators. Extremism is indifferent to its opposition, even if it's represented in a unanimous refusal of its risk. It prides itself on being the saved sect amongst all people on earth, condemning all others to deviation and ruin. In this regard, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, if a man says the people are ruined, he is the most ruined. That is their definition of extremism, the intellectual warfare, Markaz al-Harb al-Islami, which is associated to the Ministry of Defense of Saudi Arabia. And Muhammad al-Isa is also the head of this. Extremism, you know, the people that are, you know, they have the saved sect, those people that have saved sect mentality. You know, like the people that went to Osama al-Utaybi, you know, the people that went to Osama al-Utaybi to ask him these questions about what is, you know, is it permissible to sit with the people of Bid'ah and Salafiyah this. These are the ones who are being called extremists, but they don't even understand that they're being called extremists. Ruhaili is the extremist under the definition of extremism. They don't even understand that. Osama al-Utaybi is the extremist under the definition of extremism, and these people are going to ask him questions are extremists, and they don't even understand that. Because do they not believe that Salafi is a safe sect? If you believe Salafi is a safe sect, you're an extremist, you're a mutashaddid, you're from the people of ghulu, you're from the people of al-tatarruf, you're from the people of separating. You are not calling the people together, you are actually separating the people. You are from the terrorists and the extremists. That's what you're from. Which is crazy, isn't it? It's crazy that they're sending Ruhaili to talk about extremism, ghulu, and al-wasatiyya, moderation, when by very definition of extremism, according to the Saudi Defense Ministry affiliate, Ruhaili is the extremist. So imagine being so ignorant that you're going to go to a seminar in who the title of that seminar is actually against you, but you speak as if it's for you when it's not for you. People do not see that. They do not see that. They do not see that. That's why I don't take their words of worth and value. When I see someone who's been so mentally manipulated and he's been so easily fooled and deceived and he's so ignorant to actually see what's going on, I don't really bother and, you know, contemplate and focus on the words of that individual. I don't give much worth to those people. That's the reality. So these people, they don't even understand what extremism means. You are the extremist. Are you so dumb and stupid? The United Nations definition of extremism is the people that are against human rights. You as a Muslim, you don't believe in the human rights of the disbelievers. You are by very definition an extremist. Do you not understand that? You are, if you believe that Salafiyya is the saved sect and that the other people are deviations, if you believe that Ash'ari are from the people of deviation, if you believe that Yahud are going to enter hellfire for eternity, you are an extremist. Do you not understand that? By the very definition of the Saudi Ministry of Defense affiliate, Markaz al-Harb al-Fikri, you are the extremist. Likewise, if you're an Ash'ari in Morocco and you say that Salafis are this and Salafis are that and other people are extreme and that, if you say that, you are an extremist as well. Because the ultimate agenda of the United Nations is to create a one world religion where no one is going to fight against anyone else. And if you dare fight against anyone else, you are an extremist. You are the one that's going to be fought against. If you fight against the Jews, you're an extremist. If you fight against the Ikhwanis, you're an extremist. If you fight against the Rafida, you're an extremist. Do people not understand this? It's so clear, simple. They want to unite everyone. And how do you unite everyone? By saying anyone who fights against anyone else is an extremist and will be eradicated. So there's no point of me even wasting my time talking about Ruhailis. Oh, is it permissible? Oh, you guys don't even understand what's going on. You foolish people, you are the extremists. The laws that are coming down, the plotting that is coming down, the harm that is coming down is upon you people. And that's what they don't seem to understand. It's upon you people. You don't even understand that. You're the extremists. Forget about Al-Qaeda and Boko Haram and ISIS and Ikhwanis and Sayyid Qutb. You're the extremists. all of this has been plotted and planned just so you're going to be clarified to be the extremist. Are you against the disbelief of human rights? Yes or no? Yes, you are. Are you against the disbelief of interfaith? Yes, you are. You're an extremist then. Do you believe in jihad with the saif, the sword? Yes, you do. Then you're an extremist. Do you believe in that men and women are not actually equal? Do you believe in that? Then you're an extremist. If you believe in that, you're an extremist. Do you believe that only the Muslims are going to enter hellfire and everyone else is going to enter, only the Muslims are going to enter the paradise and everyone else is going to enter hellfire? Do you believe in that? Then you're an extremist. You are an extremist. But they don't seem to understand. And that's why I don't really bother, and I said I wasted my time. Because when I heard this guy speak about these matters, I just said to myself, number one, I realize why these people, they tell other people you don't need to know everything. Have you heard certain people say you don't need to know everything? Do you know why they say you don't need to know everything? Because the moment you know the thing, then firstly, you won't fall into their hizbs, you won't fall into their parties, you won't fall into their blind following, you're not going to fall into it, that's the first thing. And second, the knowledge that you've actually learned concerning this is going to clarify to you the ignorance of that individual. So what this person is saying when he says you don't need to learn everything, what he actually means is keep ignorant over these affairs. And when I speak so confidently over these affairs, then accept what I say, and that is the truth. No, that's not the truth. The moment you learn and you seek knowledge concerning the affairs of the United Nations and the affairs of the state and the plottings and the plannings, the moment you learn about these matters, the moment you will see how ignorant these people are. That's why they were supportive of COVID and all the lockdowns of COVID, because of how ignorant they are. That's why they say you don't need to know everything. My brother, you need to learn as much as you can. Learn as much as you can. They say, oh, leave politics. Politics is this and that. The reason why they don't want you to know about these matters is because it will expose how ignorant they are. Allah is my witness, it will expose how ignorant they are. So what if they said, oh, these people are people of hayd and nifas and they don't know these matters. 100%. A lot of these people in the world today, they actually don't. And then they will say, oh, he's made that statement, that means he's a khariji, he's a ikhwani. You are some of the dumbest people. We warn against the khawarij, we clarify them more than you. We clarify their objectives more than you. We clarify why they were formed more than you. We know them more than you. We know the Ikhwanis more than you. We know the aim and objectives of creating the Muslim Brotherhood more than you. You don't even see how there is the Muslim Brotherhood is succeeding in Saudi Arabia. And it's been around since the 1960s. You don't understand that. Because you've been told Saudi fights against Ikhwanis. Muslim World League is an Ikhwani organization, yes or no? Muhammad al-Isa is an Ikhwani individual, yes or no? Yes, he is. And he's been supported by the state. Do you not understand? He's been supported by the state. He's meeting the heads of all these different countries. He's meeting royal families around the world. Why? On whose behalf is he walking around the whole world and speaking to all these heads? On whose behalf? Is it on his own behalf or is it on behalf of the Saudi state? That's what these people don't seem to understand. They, oh, Ikhwani, he's an Ikhwani. I'm an Ikhwani. Bro, you got a bigger Ikhwani at home. You got one of the biggest Ikhwanis at home. And you don't understand Ikhwanism, because I will clarify what Ikhwanism is. And when I clarify what Ikhwanism is, it will expose these people and how ignorant they are of the matter. Of course, if you don't even know that you're the extremist that they're speaking about, how will you know what Ikhwanism is? You won't know what Ikhwanism is. You will not know what Ikhwanism is. Bro, you're falling into their traps. You're walking in a direction they want you to walk in, and then you want to act like you know what Ikhwanism is. You don't know what Ikhwanism is. Fulan huwa khariji, qawlun khariji, fulan khariji, fulan ikhwanji. I mean, firstly it was Ikhwani, now they've changed the term to Ikhwanji. Fulan Ikhwanji. You people are some of the most ignorant people when it comes to Ikhwanism. And we'll speak about that matter as well. So we've clarified that Ruhaili, he went to this talk, clearly doesn't know what extremism is and moderation is, that this is the Saudis' understanding of extremism, Moroccan understanding of extremism is the same, that they try to make up rulings and principles, wishy-washy principles. And it's weird because these people, whenever someone sits with the people of bid'ah, maybe Abu Taymiyyah is going to go sit with the people of bid'ah, they're going to say, look, he's from the people of hizbs, he's a hizbi, he's from the people of bid'ah, Abu Taymiyyah sat with these people. But the moment it's their own sheikh, the principles have to start moving around, you know, he has to start swaying around, the principles start changing. It changes when it's their own hizb. But when it's other than the hizb, all of a sudden, oh, you can't sit with the people of bid'ah, it's, oh, look, he went and he sat with the people of bid'ah, oh, look. The excuses they make for Ruhaili, they don't make for other than Ruhaili. It's crazy, innit? It's weird. And then they want to warn against the people of At-Tamir', the people of the Mumayyi'een, the ones that watered down the Salafi manhaj. They say, oh, look at these Mumayyi'een. They allow the people to sit with the people of Bid'ah. You are from the Mumayyi'een. You're the ones who are allowing to sit with women and sit with who? With Ash'aris and sit with who? Under the guise of, oh, he's speaking the truth and he's clarifying the truth. You guys are the Mumayyi'een. Not only are you from the Mumayyi'een, you guys are ignorant, juhal, very extremely ignorant. That's what you are. How are you guys trying to warn against Mumayyi'een when you are falling into the very same thing that you're warning against? I mean, I'm not surprised, because you don't even understand what extremism means. You don't even understand how you're being used and abused. Of course, when someone doesn't understand how they're being used and abused, how do you expect them to understand anything else in reality? What else are they supposed to understand? Yeah? So, I'll talk about Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh. Oh, the Mufti of Saudi Arabia. The Mufti of Saudi Arabia, the Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh, who was Salafi, Alim al-Salafi. Really, he's a Salafi Alim, yeah? Let's go and see what your Salafi Alim has said. Because I'm very interested in your Salafi Alim. Of course, I mean, it's not like these people actually understand what Salafi is. Where is it? Where is it? Let me go find his statements quickly. Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh, he's the Salafi Mufti. We'll go into that one right now. Here it is. I've got it. His Eminence Sheikh Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh, the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia and the head of the Supreme Council of the Muslim World League. You remember Muslim World League, one of the most corrupt organizations on the face of this earth. He is who? You know, he is a what? He's the head of the Supreme Council of this, one of the biggest deviant organizations on the face of this earth. What did he say? He said, on behalf of the council, I commend the charter of building bridges between Islamic schools of thoughts and sects, and I affirm the council's support for the interpretations of brotherhood included in its principles. So, Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh is the most Ikhwanji on the face of this earth then. Because what do the Ikhwanis call for? They call for the unification of what? Everyone. Hassan al-Banna's Ikhwanism calls for the unification of everyone, all the people of deviance. And what is Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh saying? On behalf of the council, I commend the charter of building bridges between Islamic schools of thoughts and sects. بين المذاهب الإسلامي. They call it مذاهب الإسلامي because they just want to make it out to seem like, oh look, they're all Islamic. It's just, you know, they just have tiny little differences. What we can do is we can bring all of them together. The Muslim World League is going to bring all the people of bid'ah together. Oh, isn't that nice? You know? Isn't that nice? Oh, we're going to bring the Ash'aris and the Salafis. Remember how they brought the Ash'aris and the Salafis in Morocco? We're going to bring the people of bid'ah together. And this is Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh who is commending this. So if Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh is commending this, and he says that Islam is a religion of unity, commanding coalition, unity of word, and explicitly warning against division and disagreement. This is what he says, okay? This is the most Hassan al-Banna's Ikhwanism I've probably ever seen and ever heard from an individual. But are you going to warn against Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh and say he's an Ikhwanji, he's an Ikhwani, you know, he's an Ikhwani, he's an Ikhwanji, when he's calling to the unity of all the people of corruption? Are you then going to call him an Ikhwani? And you know when they say Islam is a religion of unity, remember, this is truth mixed with falsehood. It's a truthful statement, but what's intended here is falsehood. When they say Islam is a religion of unity, it's truthful. But because it's generic and they don't clarify it, of course the Ash'aris are going to say, yes, the Islam is a religion of unity. And then the Rafid is going to come and say, yes, Islam is a religion of unity. That is why there are ways to be speaking the truth whilst intending falsehood. What do? You keep it very wide and open and general, just so everyone can come and claim their own little piece. That is why they say Islam is a religion of unity. Why don't you talk about Islam being a religion of unity that fights against the people of corruption, like the Ash'aris? Mention the Ash'aris, mention the Rafida, mention those that insult Aisha radiallahu anha, mention this with your, mention it. And then they're going to say, oh, he mentions this in his durus. Have you not heard about his sharh of Kitab al-Tawheed? You guys are so foolish. He speaks to you about Sharh Kitab al-Tawheed to you, okay, in your little classes, in your little lessons. But when he's going on the world stage, the Muslim World League, he's saying something else. Which is crazy, isn't it? It's almost crazy. It's almost as if he's mixing the truth and falsehood together. It's almost as if this is what the Ikhwanis do. Mix the truth and falsehood together. So, is Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh, who's sitting with the people of bid'ah, who's sitting with the people of corruption, who's commending the Muslim World League, one of the most corrupt organizations on the face of this earth, is he an Ikhwani? Yes or no? Is he an Ikhwani? That's the question for them to answer. You know, when the moment they try to answer this question, all their principles of sitting with the people of bid'ah starts to become wishy-washy. They become the mumayyi'een. You know, the people that they warn against. These guys, like they say Abu Zakaria, and this guy, they random other people, these people that, this is the person who's a mumayyi', he's a mumayyi', tamyi' is seeping from this person, this, what is it called, Abu Haytham. They're like, these people are mumayyi'een, they watered down the principles of the Salafiyya. Answer this simple question. Is Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh an Ikhwani? For calling for unity, for sitting with the people of bid'ah, and he is upholding the principles of Hassan al-Banna's Ikhwanism. Is he an Ikhwani? Then you will start to find that real mumayyi'een start to come out. It's funny, innit? It's funny that the mumayyi'een are trying to warn against the mumayyi'een. You know why? But this occurs, like the Salaf said. The Salaf said a person might recite the Quran whilst the Quran is cursing him. That's the thing these people don't understand. That they are the very same thing that they're warning against. Isn't that weird? They are the very same thing that they're warning against. This is the level of blindness and ignorance that so many of these people are in. This is Jahlul Murakkab. This is where they can't even understand the reality of what's going on. They make judgments, they make statements based on a matter that's not even the reality. They make it based on what their delusions are and what their past experiences was and what they heard from Fulan and Fulan was. But that's not ilm, that's not knowledge, that's stupidity, that's ignorance, that's foolishness, that's not knowledge. Knowledge is understanding the reality. What is the reality? You don't know the United Nations SDGs. Do you know what the United Nations SDGs is? Osama al-Utaybi. Do you know? Someone should ask him if he knows what the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are. Can you mention what the Sustainable Development Goals are? Do you know what that is? No, you don't. Okay, do you know what the heads and the foundations of the United Nations are? Can you tell me that? If you don't know this, you don't know the heads of United Nations, you don't know the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, you don't know about this universal periodic review that Saudi is doing practically every 3 years for human rights. You don't know about H.G. Wells, the one who was the architect of the Human Rights Declaration. If you don't know these things and you don't know these matters, how then can you speak about the United Nations with so much confidence? Look at these people when they ask questions about Al-Ummah Al-Muttahida. They answer it with so much conviction. Do you know who H.G. Wells is? Do you know about UNESCO? Do you know about United Nations charters, the laws, the charter laws of the United Nations? Do you know this? Do you know how it was formed? Do you know the aims and objectives of the United Nations? If you don't know about any of these matters, how then can you be so confident about speaking about Al-Ummah Al-Muttahida? I used to hear Al-Qaeda say that Saudi Arabia, they rule by al-qawaneen al-wad'iyya. So whoever says Saudi Arabia rules by al-qawaneen al-wad'iyya, he's an ikhwani because he's a khariji because al-Qaeda khariji. This is so stupid. That's why these people cannot stop what's coming. They cannot stop what's coming because of how stupid they are. They can't stop it. COVID exposed them to one of the greatest levels in how they are so powerless and how ignorant they are, and they can't stop what's coming to Saudi Arabia. They can't stop the corruption that's coming. All they can do is cry, and we can't help you, we can't do this, and that is it. And maybe talk on Twitter, make about thousands of posts on Twitter. I'm going to reply to this person. I'm going to reply to that person. That is all they can do. They can't stop what's coming. When you're so ignorant of the matter, how can you stop what is coming? They can't. They can't stop what's coming. It's happening already under their own noses, and they can't even sniff it because they don't even have the senses to sniff. Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh, he says, when we emphasize this great principle, i.e. that Islam calls to unity of Islam, which urges every effort to unite Muslims and avoid anything that might divide them, we particularly address their scholars. Muslims regard their scholars as sources of fatwas and religious guidance. The Sunnah of the Prophet is full of commands promoting the unity of Muslims. Hassan al-Banna would have loved this so much. If Hassan al-Banna was alive today, would he not be proud? Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh, the Mufti, the what is he? Sorry, I forgot. He's not just Mufti. It's the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, the chairman of councils of senior scholars, the head of the General Presidency for Scholarly Research and Iftar. His Eminence. Sorry, that was his full title. I should give him his full title, right? No. So this is the reality. Answer this question. Is Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh and Ikhwani? Why do you not understand what extremism is? Why do you not see what's happening? Why do you like to label everyone Ikhwani? Why do you like to label everyone Khariji? Like, you guys literally use the term Khariji so lightly. It's so khafif upon your tongue, so lightly, that it's starting to lose meaning. Not only is it starting to lose meaning, number one, but number two, you're actually aiding the United Nations in achieving their objectives. You know why? You know why? Because you will say, he's a Khariji, he's a Khariji, he's a Khariji, meaning he's an extremist, he's a terrorist. And remember, they've already defined extremism and terrorism. So when you push people that speak the truth and you say that they're Kharijis because of your lack of understanding and your jahl murakkab, your compound form of ignorance, it's not just a simple form of ignorance, it's ignorance that's built upon ignorance, built upon ignorance. You call that person a Khariji, you're aiding and supporting the United Nations because they're the ones who define in reality what extremism, terrorism, something that's not moderation, they define what it is. They define what it is. So these people, they aid the disbelievers. You aid the disbelievers you aid the disbelievers due to your ignorance. You aid the disbelievers due to your ignorance. And you can't even stop what's happening. You can't even stop what's happening. So I'm going to talk about Ikhwanism quickly, even though I've spoken about Ikhwanism before. I don't know why people clearly don't understand. So, or maybe they're not listening, they just like to cherry pick certain things. They don't actually listen. They don't like to actually understand the whole matter. When someone says something, don't just listen to the words. Try to understand everything that's built around the words. When you hear about United Nations, ask the person, you're talking about United Nations, do you even know who United Nations are? Do you know how they were formed? Do you know what their aims and objectives are? Do you know what their goals are? Do you know what their plottings and plannings are? Do you know what they talk about in their meetings are? If you don't know any of this, don't talk about United Nations. But the people, they think he's an alim, who was sheikh. So anything that he talks about, he must know. No. A lot of them talk about matters they actually don't know about. When they were talking about vaccines, what were they saying? The vaccines are safe and effective, and the vaccines it's all 100% of like the doctors they support these vaccines or whatever it is that they were saying. They clearly didn't understand what's going on. So that is the purest proof that you need that these individuals don't know what's going on. And they say, return back to the verified sources of information. What is the verified source of information, Zulfiqar? You know what the verified source of information is? The NHS, the disbelieving NHS. NHS is the verified source of information. And this is the guy who's trying to say for 20 years he was seeking knowledge and eating onions and eating tomatoes. And he says that he studied hadith and the science of hadith. All that knowledge of science of hadith and ulum al-hadith and hadith. And after 20 years, you come out and you say the NHS are the verified sources of information. What hadith are you learning? What religion were you learning? What were you learning? What was being taught to you? That's why I know you wasted your time in 20 years eating onions and eating tomatoes, quote unquote, seeking knowledge. And this is the proof that whosoever Allah does not grant knowledge and understanding to will never ever be able to grant knowledge and understanding, even if they go and study for 20 years and they go to Saudi Arabia and they put their thobes on and they take pictures of their little books. Even if they go and say, I sat with Sheikh Fulan and Sheikh Allan and I took a picture with Sheikh Fulan and Sheikh Allan. If Allah does not intend for you to have knowledge and understanding, wallahi, Wabillahi wa tallahi, you will never have knowledge and understanding. Even if you had to go through so much hunger and difficulty for knowledge, and you had to eat tomatoes, and you had to eat, onions, as Zulfikar used to say, you will not benefit from that knowledge whatsoever. And I say alhamdulillah to that, because Allah is the one who's going to clarify the people of the truth from the people of falsehood. Not you. Not you and your labels. Not you and your words. It's not you. So let's go to Ikhwanism, because clearly these people don't seem to understand Ikhwanism. In short, Ikhwanism is the Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood. I don't like to... Muslim Brotherhood. Now, the Muslim Brotherhood, in reality, they are a Freemasonic organization. It's a Freemasonic organization. It's a Freemasonic organization. There was a heavy influence of Freemasonry in Egypt. The ruler of Egypt during that time period, before this individual that they fought against, he was a Freemason as well. So the Freemasons were rulers during the Ottoman Empire. The Freemasons were involved during the Egyptians when they were leaving the Ottoman Empire and all of that influence. The Freemasons were there, okay? And then they had this organization, Muslim Brotherhood. Sayyid Qutb was also from the Freemasons as well. Not only Sayyid Qutb, but the head of Ikhwanism, what's his name? Not Hassan al-Banna, there was another individual from Iran, some Iranian guy, Batini Iranian Shi'i, he was also, and he's the one whose principles that they all took. He was a Freemason as well. So the Muslim Brotherhood is a Freemasonic organization. That's where they get the word brotherhood from. Brotherhood, when you hear these terms, brotherhood, it's not about Islamic brotherhood that they're talking about. The term is usually used frequently with Freemasons. They say you cannot use the word brother or brotherhood if you're not a Freemason. If you haven't joined the Freemasonic organization, you can't use the word brother or brotherhood. So it's a Freemasonic organization. And I'm not going to talk about Freemasons right now, that's another time. There was two leaders that are commonly known by the people. It's Hassan al-Banna, this guy, Hassan al-Banna, and Sayyid Qutb. From Sayyid Qutb, there were groups like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, AQ, Boko Haram, which is AQ, Al-Shabaab, which is AQ. Then these are the groups that came. Of course, there's many other groups, but these groups, they came underneath Sayyid Qutb. What they believed in was that all rulers are disbelievers. All rulers are disbelievers. They believe that there has to be revolution, like a communist-style revolution. There has to be a communist-style revolution. Al-Khuruj against the hukam, against the rulers, and they have to dispose the rulers from their seats. So all the Muslim rulers in the world, every one of them are all kuffar, and they have to be disposed. You'd think the agenda ends with Sayyid Qutb. No, the agenda doesn't end with him. There's a second side to the Muslim Brotherhood, which is Hassan al-Banna. Hassan al-Banna believes in human rights. Okay, human rights. He believes in unification. Okay, he believes in interfaith. Okay, he believes in destroying Islamic values from governance. Okay, this is what Hassan al-Banna believes. Okay, this is what Saudi Arabia believes as well. Saudi Arabia believes in human rights. They believe in unification, and they believe in interfaith as well. That's what Saudi state believe in as well. So Hassan al-Banna, there's one side of Ikhwanism. We go down is one side. Sayyid Qutb is one side. Now, how do they work so well? The Freemasons, they believe in something which is order out of chaos. Okay, order and chaos. Because order is one way and chaos is another way. And they both work together to implement the agenda. So the chaos of Ikhwanism is Sayyid Qutb. He's the one that brings the bloodshed. He's the one that brings the takfir. He's the one that brings the revolution. He's the one that brings the killing. He's the one that brings the revolution. So Sayyid Qutb is the chaos aspect of Freemasonries, which is Sayyid Qutb. He brings the revolution, the Syrian revolution. He brings the, Libyan issues and all these issues around the Arab world, as they say, where they just want revolutions to kill their rulers, to dispose their rulers. That is the chaos aspect. The order aspect is what? Hassan al-Banna. that we need to unite all the people, man. Come on, guys. We need peace, man. Why are you guys killing each other, man? We just need to unite. You know, we need to come together. We need to support human rights. Come on, guys. We're tired of wars, man. Don't you know that the United Nations agenda is to remove all forms of war, and that they are the ones who are supposedly going to bring peace to the world? Come on, guys. We need to bear in mind, they're the ones that are doing revolution. They're killing, spilling blood, making takfir, trying to kill every single other person. That's what they're doing on one face. And on the other face, they want to tell you we need to unite, we need human rights. The Jews are our brothers. You know, the Jews are our brothers. The Hindus are our brothers. Come on, guys. This is the order. And Hassan al-Banna's order is the most important part of Muslim brotherhood, Ikhwanism. It's the most important form because this is the real aim and goal. The real aim and goal is to first take the rulers out, to take all the Muslim rulers out, and then to place them with what? People that believe in Hassan al-Banna's statements of unification, human rights and all of that. And that is what is going to occur when they become leaders. The Hassan al-Banna's Ikhwanisms, when they become leaders, they will destroy the principles and the values of Islam. Because Islam does not believe the Jews are our brothers. Islam does not believe in unifying with the people of corruption. Islam does not believe in the United Nations form of human rights. Islam does not believe in Freemasonry. Firstly, Islam doesn't believe in Freemasonry. Freemasonry is a disbelieving organization who are one of the most corrupt, evil deviants on the face of this earth. Islam is against all of this. All of this order out of chaos and all of this plotting. This is nothing here is Islamic. No aspect of Sayyid Qutb's Ikhwanism is Islamic. No aspect. They may speak the truth sometimes and say, this, Tawheed, Sunnah, Kada, Bid, Thob above the ankles. They may speak the truth sometimes, but the reality of all of this has nothing to do with Islam. When you see the Muslims being killed in Syria, it's not to do with Islam. When you see the Muslims being slaughtered around the world, it's not to do with Islam. The reason why all of them are being killed and humiliated is because there's these evil individuals working behind closed doors to allow these things to occur. That's what you're not understanding. And these people don't understand. They just think that Ikhwanis are, did you hear Muzammil al-Faqiri in Sudan? He talks about Ikhwanis. Like, look, one thing they say about Ikhwanis, they go to Al Jazeera. They say Al Jazeera is an Ikhwani platform. Al Jazeera is an Ikhwani platform. But what about NBC? Is that not an Ikhwani platform as well? Is that not an Ikhwani platform as well? So Muzammil al-Faqiri in Sudan, he's going to warn against those people, Al Jazeera. And then the same Muzammil al-Faqiri, you're going to see him on NBC. So he's gone from one Ikhwani to another Ikhwani. But apparently he's fighting against Ikhwanism. He's fighting Ikhwanism. You people are so deaf, dumb and blind and stupid. You don't even see that you're being played around with from all these different sides and angles. NBC are Ikhwanis as well. You know, all the acting, all the music. What? Is that Salafiyya, yeah? Is that Salafiyya? Is that what Salafiyya is? Come on, don't be foolish. So Hassan al-Banna's side of the Muslim Brotherhood is the main aim and objective. And Saudi Arabia supports Hassan al-Banna's side of Ikhwanism. Do you not understand? The Muslim World League that Muhammad al-Isa and Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh are a part. They support this. You know? Full support, sir. You know that. They support this. Full support. So they support this. The Saudi defense supports this. Support. The Saudi education support. They support this. And Ikhwanism, the Hassan al-Banna side of Ikhwanism, human rights and all of these things, United Nations and unification, this has been around since the 1960s, bro. 1960s. You guys are saying Saudi fights against Ikhwanism. How have they been fighting against Ikhwanism when Ikhwanism is very well established in Saudi Arabia? They're based in Riyadh, they're based in Mecca, they're based in Jeddah, they're based around all of Saudi. They're based there. So how is Saudi been fighting against Ikhwanism? Clarify it to me. Oh, they've been only fighting against Sayyid Qutb sides of Ikhwanism, ISIS, Khawarij. Oh, they've been just fighting against this. But that's how you guys are dumb. Because the reason why they make you focus on the chaos aspect is because they want you to forget about the order aspect, which is Hassan al-Banna. So whilst they're so busy on Khawarij, Ikhwani, these guys were seeping and actually making a difference. They're seeping, making a difference. They're being influential. They're going into the government. They're being influential. But you people aren't influential. That's why I felt like it was a waste of time. Listening for 50 minutes is a waste of time because these people aren't influential. They just talk. Khawarij, Khariji, Qawlun Khariji, this and that. Whatever they just say, it's just talking. They're so deceived by all of this. They forgot about the real matter. This is the crux of the matter. Hassan al-Banna's Ikhwanism, human rights. This is what the Saudi state supports. It supports this. How do I know? Because I've just shown you that the Saudi's Ministry of Defense, the way they define extremism. I've shown you that. I've shown you how the Muslim World League, previously, not now, how the Muslim World League, they call for human rights. They call for loving the Hindus, loving the Jews. You know, we went to Auschwitz and we're going to pray in Auschwitz. And, look, we're going to hug the Yahud. You know, Holocaust was a very bad thing. Of course. This is, who supports Muslim World League? Who supports Muhammad al-Isa? It's the Saudi state. So the Saudi state is supporting Ikhwanism, whether you like it or not. You cannot progress. You cannot understand. You cannot save yourself if you don't understand this matter. So I hope just a bit of Ikhwanism is clarified to you. You understand Sayyid Qutb's side, Hassan al-Banna's side. Hassan al-Banna is the real aim of Ikhwanism. This is the real goal. The real goal is to be in power and to remove Islam from governance, to remove Islamic law from governance, to remove Islamic influence from governance, to remove it. Why? Because Islam is in totality from its beginning till its end against the disbelievers and their laws and their governance and their disbelief and their corruption. Islam is against every single aspect of it. That is why the Muslim Brotherhood was formed. It was formed to seep into every single form of the Islamic lands, to confuse them, make them busy with Kharij, all day and night, all day and night, busy them with that, so that they may forget about this. That's why they're the Muslim World League. You know, it's not just the Muslim League, it's the Muslim World League. You know what world means? That they're the ones that are bringing all the Muslims around the world together. They're the ones that are one of the biggest organizations. You know, the World Economic Forum. You know about the World Bank. You know about that. You know the World Trade Organization. You know about all these world organizations. This is the Muslim World League. So whilst the Ikhwanis are there in the Muslim World League, what are you so-called Salafis doing? Apart from calling people Khariji, Ikhwani, and then you're just typing little messages on Telegram, you're typing little messages on Instagram. What have you guys done, yes, whilst these are what the Ikhwanis have done? What have you done? What have you done? You're going to say, our Shaykh Ruhaili, he went to Morocco and he sat with Ash'ira and he went to spread the truth. Bro, your Shaykh Ruhaili doesn't even know what he's stepping himself into. They're playing around with him. Playing around with him. He don't even understand himself. And I'm saying this with so much confidence and bravery because I have the knowledge about this and I know what's going on. They clearly don't know what's going on. Unless, number one, they accept this and they actually evil, corrupt people that are accepting this and allowing this to occur, number one. Or they're just genuinely ignorant over the matter. And guess what? Both of these things are not good. Being ignorant is not good, and being evil is not good. None of these matters are good. So that's why I can mention this with so much confidence. So this is Ikhwanism. I hope it's clarified. I hope you know how Muzammil al-Faqiri, the lion of the Asad al-Sunnah, he's the lion of the Sunnah, Muzammil al-Faqiri. Have you seen how Muzammil al-Faqiri fights against the Sufi Quburiyun, and he fights against Ikhwanis, the Ikhwanjis, he fights against them, really? You know Al Jazeera? Yes, NBC. Why? Because NBC Saudi equals what? good, that's it. Saudi equals good. That is it. That's their brain levels. It's not even just good. For them, it's good. That is it. That's literally their form of understanding. That is it. And it's not a mockery to clarify the state and the truth of these individuals, because that is how it is. That is literally their state. NBC is backed by the Saudi government. If it's backed by the Saudi government, that means it's good. It's good. It's good. The Muslim World League is supported by the Saudi government. Is that good? Is that good? That's what I want to know. Clarify this to the people. Clarify that you're against the Hassan al-Banna side of Ikhwanism, that you're against the Muslim World League, that you're against what Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh is doing, you're against what Al-Ruhaili is doing. Clarify this, guys. Clarify this. Clarify to the people that maybe Saudi isn't all good. That maybe Saudi is actually working towards Hassan al-Banna side of Ikhwanism, human rights. I'll give an example of human rights right here. I've got it here. Where is it? What does it say? This is the Human Rights Commission.gov.Saudi Arabia. Okay? This is the government. This is a government organization, the Human Rights Commission. Firstly, why does Saudi Arabia, the land of Tawheed and Sunnah, why does the land of Tawheed and Sunnah have Human Rights Commission? Human Rights Commission. Why? I thought Tawheed and Sunnah meant that Islam is complete in everything, and that Islam is against the human rights that's been formed by the United Nations. What happened? What happened? But anyways, let's see. 96% is endorsement rate for the recommendations related to women's rights. What this means is Saudi Human Rights Commission, they go, and there's other countries' human rights commissions, they tell Saudi Arabia, oh, Saudi Arabia, basically, you guys have to do this, you guys have to do that, you guys have to do this. They give recommendations. 96% is the endorsement rate for recommendation related to women's rights. Wow. So these disbelieving countries in the United Nations that are giving women's rights recommendations, I wonder what these women's rights are. What is this? 80% of the endorsement of the kingdom's recommendations on legal and institutional framework for human rights. What? Endorsement for, what is this? Institutional framework for human rights, national plans and strategies, fair trials and criminal justice, civil liberties, the right to work and labor rights, and the recommendations related to regional and international cooperation. The Universal Periodic Review, the UPR mechanism, is one of the mechanisms of the United Nations Human Rights Council. Within this framework, countries provide each other with recommendations concerning human rights. Oh man, in Saudi, they're endorsing these ones. They're taking some of these endorsements on point. But that's not it. The kingdom is steadfast in its pursuit of achieving the highest global standard in the promotion and protection of human rights, grounded in its steadfast principles and values, and the leadership's commitment to prioritizing human beings above all else, above your religion, above Salafiyah, above whatever you think is whatever you think, above whatever you have to say, because what you have to say is actually so worthless and useless. Prioritizing human beings above all else. Your religion, your Salafiyah, you are the extremist. Do you not understand? Of course you don't understand. I'm talking to like a brick wall. Equality, dialogue, cooperation, impartiality. Bear in mind, this is from the Saudi government. This is the HRC Saudis one, okay? Equality, dialogue, cooperation, impartiality, objectivity, and transparency should be fundamental pillars and common ground for any interaction. The common ground is not Islam, Salafiyah, Sharia, At-Tawheed. The common ground, the fundamental pillar is not Al-Islam, is not the Shahada, La ilaha illallah. The common fundamental pillar is equality. equality, dialogue, cooperation, impartiality, objectivity. Where's the Salafiyah? This is the real thing that's influencing the people of Saudi Arabia. Where is your Salafiyah here? Can you show me where it says Salafiyah anywhere? Show me where it says Salafiyah. Oh man, it's almost as if you guys just are very good at writing messages on Instagram and Twitter, and you actually don't know what's actually going on. Oh man, they are telling you themselves from their own mouths. They are telling you this. It's not me that's getting this from his back pocket. They are telling you this, prioritizing human beings. Why do they say human beings? Why human beings? Because the Kafir is a human. The Ash'ari is a human. The Zionist is a human. The Jew is a human. The adulterer is a human. The person of corruption is a human. Human beings above all else. But remember, extremists, they're not human beings. They have to be fought against. They have to be fought against. Jihad is, what does jihad mean? They will define jihad fighting against extremists. That's their idea of jihad. So look, prioritizing human beings. Why? Because what? Everyone's a human being. Are you a kafir, mushrik? Do you insult Allah and the Messenger day and night and worship cows? Do you worship cows? Don't worry, because we're going to be prioritizing human beings above all else. Don't worry. Don't worry. Equality is our fundamental pillar. And dialogue and cooperation. Dialogue and cooperation. Dialogue and cooperation. Let me show you something quickly on dialogue and cooperation. Because clearly these people don't seem to understand, because they don't want to know. They want to talk, but they don't want to know. Why are you going to talk when you don't want to know? Where is it? It's the KAICIID. Okay? This is the King Abdullah's International Dialogue Center, or Center for Dialogue. Okay? Let's go down. This is the KACIID, the King Abdullah International Dialogue for Center for Dialogue. Yeah, dialogue. Remember dialogue. This is a time period of dialogue. This is what the United Nations believe. This is what the United Nations believe, that this is a time period for dialogue, to come together, to unite. This is, do you know who formed the KAICIID? This was formed around, if I'm not mistaken, 2016 by King Abdullah. King Abdullah, the head of the Saudi state, alongside the disbelievers, he opened up this center for dialogue. This is founded by the Saudi head of state. We promote and employ inter-religious dialogue to support conflict prevention and resolution, sustainable peace and social cohesion, to promote mutual respect and understanding amongst different religious and cultural groups, and to counteract the abuse of religion to justify oppression, violence and conflict. I mean, that's jihad gone, because jihad is violence, jihad is conflict against the disbelievers. So jihad has already been wiped away from whatever you believe. And also, look, promote mutual respect. Respect, I thought respect is only for the truth and the Muslims and the people of goodness. But no, we need to promote respect among different religious and cultural groups. And I'm not going to go up, but you're going to see that there's a Christian guy here with a little Christian thing, and there's another Christian guy here with his little red thingy from the Vaticans. This is King Abdullah. You know who King Abdullah was? King Abdullah, let me actually go to the history of this KAICID, because they might even show you a picture of King Abdullah with the Pope. Oh, here it is. What? So this is the King Abdullah's International Dialogue Center, yeah? Here he is. Oh, this was 2007, I think they met. So 2007, here he is. And he's with who? What? This is one of the most evil individuals on the face of this earth. The Vatican are some of the most corrupt people on the face of this earth. They work for the Yahud, these people. The KACIID was born from a vision of interfaith cooperation. If you ask Salafis, what is interfaith, they're going to tell you interfaith is kufr. So it's weird that your King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia was born, this whole thingy was born from a vision of interfaith cooperation and peace. Peace, peace. You know who's saying peace? The people of corruption, the ones who cause so much chaos and murder and slaughter and bloodshed are the ones that are saying peace. That's hilarious. Over a 7-year-long negotiation and development process, KAICIID's mandate and structure were designed to foster dialogue. Remember what I mentioned about dialogue? The Saudi talking about what? They talk about dialogue. But it's not something new. This has been occurring since 2007. Maybe these people were busy with Ikhwani and Khariji. Whilst you were busy with Ikhwani and Khariji, these people were actually busy with forming foundational principles and companies and organizations that are going to spread kufr, interfaith is kufr. To foster dialogue amongst people of different faiths and cultures so as to overcome animosities. What? So Islam teaches you to hate the kuffar, the mujrimeen, the criminals, the people of disbelief. But apparently KACIID and Human Rights Commission of Saudi Arabia is going to teach you, okay, they're going to teach you how to foster dialogue that's going to overcome animosities. Animosities. And it's also going to instill mutual respect. What? What happened to al-wala wal-bara? What happened to that? What happened to hating the disbelievers? And what happened to loving the believers? What happened to that? Just like how they removed jihad before, this now is removed. So your whole Islam is basically removed. Do you not understand? Of course these people don't understand. They have people like Ruhaili walking around in circles and he doesn't even understand where he's walking around. Leaders from Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Jewish and Muslim religious traditions and the governments of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Republic of Austria and the Kingdom of Spain and the Holy See join together to make the vision of KAICIID a reality. What? Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, interfaith, mutual respect. Is this not what Hassan al-Banna was calling for? To unite everyone. Is this not the epitome of Ikhwanism? What happened, guys? Oh, it's because of Hizbiyya, isn't it? Because apparently Ikhwanism is only one side. Oh, so that's one aspect. Second aspect we're going to go to is this video. Give me a second. By the Saudi prince. He's the Saudi prince. He's an ambassador to the United Kingdom, okay? So let's listen to this. Here he is. His name is Prince Khalid.
An outsider would, I think that I have a fairly good understanding of certainly British society, and I certainly have a good understanding of Saudi society. So you do have the ability to look at it from a slightly outsider's point of view before going into it.
Saudi Arabia has a controversial reputation around the world, and a lot of British people will presume that it's not a very nice place, probably. I mean, it's run by Sharia law, is the law of the land. There are public beheadings in the town squares. Women are required by law to be...
Look at how shamefully, he looks almost ashamed of what's being said. Instead of being proud and smiling and being happy, he looks so ashamed. But we'll carry on.
Covered from including their faces, adultery, homosexuality, these things are illegal. To a normal British person, that sounds like a kind of medieval and really not very nice place to be. Are we wrong to presume that?
You're not wrong to presume that, but not all of that is absolutely correct.
So what he just said about the Sharia, it being medieval, so talking about beheadings, women wearing the niqab and all of these matters to do with the Islamic religion, look what he says, yeah?
That. And really not very nice place to be. Are we wrong to presume that? And to a normal British person, that sounds...
To a normal British person, that sounds...
like a kind of medieval
and
really not very nice place
Not very nice place to be.
to be. Are we wrong to presume that?
Are we wrong to presume it? Let's see.
You're not wrong to presume that, but not all of that is absolutely correct.
So instead of saying you're completely wrong to presume that, okay, instead of saying you're completely wrong and being proud, he says certain aspect you're basically not wrong. Allah understand. So anyways, he explains himself. Just look at how he talks here. Look at how he explains himself.
It is a very different culture. The development and the change that's happened in society in Saudi Arabia has been dramatic over the last 100 years. And I always tell people that my grandfather used to go to work on horseback. My father flew fast jets. And a cousin of mine was the first Arab in space. And that's in 3 generations. And God knows the gap between that and my children and the world that they grow up in. We've moved from a very, very different place 100 years ago to where we are today, and we're continuing to develop. But you have to take...
We're continuing to develop. Remember, what does he mean by development? What is development? Think about that.
Things for what they are and look at the society as a whole and what it wants. You can't give people something that they don't want. They won't take it. They won't receive it. You have to slowly bring people along and allow them to develop.
You have to slowly bring the people along. What are the people being brought into? Can you explain to me what is... So he's saying you can't force people to accept something, but what you have to do is what? You have to slowly bring them in, slowly bring them in, slowly bring... Where are they being brought into? Are they being brought into slowly Salafiyah? We're slowly bringing you into Salafiyah. We're slowly bringing you out of Ikhwanism. No! Where are they going to? They literally tell you everywhere, all of these things I've shown you, where are they going to? What is this development? Why do you see that it's okay to think it's medieval and it's bad for the Sharia to be implemented, the hudud, beheadings to be implemented? Why? Why is it bad? Why is it something you need to be ashamed of? What is this development you're talking about? This is the thing I hate about the disbelievers, and I hate about those who are with the disbelievers. I hate this because they claim that development is kufr. If you are a kafir and you accept the kuffar's laws and systems and the way they dress and the way they act and the way they talk, that is development. But if you dare follow the Islam and the Sharia and you're against the United Nations Human Rights Declaration and you're against all of the kufr and disbelief, then you are medieval, you're backwards, you're barbaric, you're dumb, you're behind, you don't understand nothing, you're not developed. Who allows them to define what development is? Do you know why they define development? Do you know why they define development? Should I tell you exactly why they define development? Because they're the ones that have the weaponry, they're the ones that have the financial system, they're the ones that are mentally deceiving these people like Ruhaili and whoever it is, they're the ones that are playing circles around these people's intellect, and they're the ones that are enforcing laws, they're enforcing systems, they're enforcing organizations to spread their corruption and evil. That's why they are so confident in talking about development in this way. You can't be confident talking about development. You haven't built anything. You haven't built anything. You just talk. You just write on Twitter and Telegram and Instagram. That is it. That is it. That's why they're so confident. When people build something and there's an actual consequence and there's actual actions being taken, that's when these people are brave to talk about development.
You need to do as a government is try and push it in a positive direction.
Push in a positive direction.
The world, there's a lot of places that are regressing and going backwards.
What is going backwards? I would love for him to define what is going backwards. I wish I knew what is going backwards.
I firmly believe that Saudi Arabia is moving positively in the right direction.
Saudi Arabia is moving positively in the right direction. So where is Saudi Arabia moving to? I mean, I'm sure you've seen it already. I don't even need to explain where it's moving to. I mean, they're literally telling you where they're moving to. They're moving to equality and dialogue and cooperation, protection of and promotion of human rights. They're telling you already, endorsing the recommendations of the disbelieving lands in the United Nations. They're telling you already, they're already telling you where it's going. Vision 2030, yep.
And we have such a young population, and the world they want
Yeah.
is very different to the world my grandfather wanted. But the gap.
Oh, I wonder what the world of the young people want. You see, they speak for the young people, man. They speak for the young people. I wonder what the young people want. Do they want discos? Do they want parties? Do they want conferences? Do they want gamings, electronic gamings? Do they want FIFA? Do they want football? I wonder what the young people want.
In time, it's not so big, and we've opened up quite a lot in the last 4 or 5 years.
What's interesting hearing you talk is that you're...
I'm not going to go through this whole thing, yeah? I'm not going to go... Western liberalism. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but this is the reality. The reality is Saudi is heading for a very, very dark place, whether you accept it or not. And the first stage is to understand, so you're not deceived, you're not surprised, you're not shocked. You're not shocked. Now, someone was talking about laws in Saudi. Let's go to... Because, you know, you got to bring up the evidence, isn't it? This is the United Nations General Assembly Human Rights Council, the 56th session, 18th June to 12th of July 2024. Fairly recent. Reports of the Working Group on the Universal Periodic Review. This is Saudi Arabia. And this is the PDF document over here. You just go down. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of it. But this is Saudi that's talking about what they've been doing. Saudi Arabia highlighted its efforts to strengthen its legal and institutional framework for human rights in compliance with the objectives of the Saudi Vision 2030. Reforms had included amendments. Yeah, amendment means changes to various laws and regulations. Wow. And I thought the Sharia didn't need amendments and it didn't need reforms. I thought the Sharia didn't need any of this. But apparently, it needs reforms and amendments to various laws and regulations, including the Travel Documents Act, the Civil Status Act, to achieve gender equality. Wow. So these laws and regulations had to be amended and changed to achieve gender equality. What? Amendments aimed at ensuring equality between men and women in rights and duties. What? I thought men and women were different. You're a Salafi, right? You know, you claim to be Salafi. I'm sure you believe that men and women are not equal in duties. The duties of a woman is to stay home, right? The duties of the man is to go out and work, right? The women were created differently than men, right? You don't believe in this equality, right, as a Salafi. But no, there has to be amendments ensuring equality between men and women in rights and duties. Where is it? And duties had been made to labor law. Why is it labor? Because Saudi Arabia needs the women to come out of the houses and work now. They need to leave the houses and work. That's why there has to be amendments to the laws. The woman has to go out and work. And when she goes out and work, it's gender equality. You Salafi, you don't even understand what's going on. You actually don't even understand what's going on. So labor protection for victims of violence had been enhanced, and the Protection Against Abuse Act and Child Protection Act had been harmonized with international standards. Wow! I thought the Sharia was enough. But no, it has to be harmonized with international standards. Wow! The disbelievers, when they say international standards, they're speaking about the disbelievers' laws. They're not talking about Islamic law. They're not talking about Sharia. It has to be harmonized with international standards. The Social Security Act targeted the most vulnerable, whatever. Saudi Arabia had adopted legislation including the Evidence Act, the Personal Status Act, and the Civil Transaction Act to enhance the integrity of the judicial system. The country had acceded to international conventions. You know what acceded means? It means you accept a request that's given to you. So the international community, the disbelievers came to Saudi Arabia and requested them with this, adopting certain legislations, and Saudi Arabia had acceded and they accepted this to the international conventions such as the Protocol of 2014 to the Forced Labor Convention 1930, number 29, the Protection of Wages Convention 1949, number 595, Hygiene Convention 1964, whatever. Regarding criminal justice,
The promulgation of the Juveniles Act marked as a historic reform, abolishing the death penalty for juveniles and replacing it with placement in a juvenile home for no longer than 10 years. Wow! Wow, they abolished the death penalty for juveniles. Wow! Wow! And now they're going to be taken to juvenile homes for 10 years. Measures had been taken to suspend executions of individuals sentenced to death before the promulgation of the Juveniles Act, emphasizing a more humane approach to justice. The Sharia is not humane, is it, guys? Remember, the Sharia is not humane, is it, guys? It has to emphasize a more humane approach to justice, which is what? Instead of killing the person, you put them in a juvenile home for 10 years. Number 12. Efforts to promote a human rights culture included the provisions of training programs and activities, many of which had been conducted in partnership with OHCR. A framework of integrating human rights values into school curricula had been developed in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. Wow! So Saudi Arabia is now putting human rights values into the school curricula. Really? Don't worry. I've got a whole thing that I'm going to go through over here, which is going to go through the changes to the Saudi curriculum, the books of the Saudi curriculum. We're going to go through updated review, Saudi textbooks 2023, 2024. So what? It's crazy how all of these links, look, this is one link, this is another video, this is another report, this is their own Twitter thingy, Human Rights Council for Saudi Arabia, this is the United Nations report. It's crazy how all of this. And then there's the Saudi Defense, Ministry of Defense, Markaz al-Harb al-Fikri is there. It just all links together, man. You see how common sense works. You put all of this together and it fits so perfectly well. But let's see Saudi Arabia's, they're integrating human rights values into school. Let's see the school and what they're teaching in Saudi Arabia. Bear in mind, I have verified this myself because you can download the Saudi textbooks that they teach, plus you can get the previous years. So what you do is you download the previous years and the new years, and then you look at the pages and you actually see what is written here is actually the truth. And this is actually going to be one of the last things I'm going to speak about. So updated review, Saudi Arabia. Jihad, martyrdom, mushrikeen, kuffar, Shi'is, Christians, gender. Bro, we got a lot to go through. Don't worry, we got a lot to go through. So these guys, Impact SE, if I'm not mistaken, they're Jewish. They basically examine the books of Saudi and they just make sure that each year Saudi's, updating the books and they're removing things and they're adding things, and don't worry. So let's just go down. We're not going to talk. Textbooks continue to highlight the importance of peace and tolerance. Remember, let's go to, where is it? Where's the peace and tolerance? Was it mentioned here or was it mentioned here? It was mentioned somewhere. Anyways, importance of peace and tolerance, particularly the critical thinking books introduced in 2022. Negative portrayals of infidels, kuffar, and the polytheist, mushrikeen, has been toned down. They have to tone it better down and decreased in number, as has the approach to allegedly heretical practices associated with the Shia and Sufism. Okay? The removal of problematic examples promoting jihad and martyrdom. We'll go through it. So let's see some examples quickly, because they talk a lot. Let's see quickly. I should have highlighted the things. Where is it? There was one quickly. So here's an example of something, yeah? This is the book Tawheed, grades 10 to 12, Humanities, 2021 version, yeah? This is the 2021 version. Actually, no, let's keep that separate for now. Let's talk about this, because this is the upgraded version of this one, if I'm not mistaken. Tawheed 2, 10 to 12, Core Systems, 2022, Pathway Systems, 2023. So here, it says that the books
of the books of the people of the book, Ahlul Kitab, the Torah and the Injil, books that were sent down by Allah. And then it mentions here, وَقَدْ أَجْمَعَ الْمُسْلِمُونَ على أن هذه الكتب منسوخة بشريعة الإسلام. And that the Muslim unanimously agree that these books, the Torah and the Injil, that they were abrogated by the Sharia of Islam. But then on the updated version, the 2023-2024 version, they mention the same thing, but they've removed. The Muslims unanimously agree with, why remove? What's the need to remove? Why would you remove? Is this not the truth? Is this not a fact? Is it not a fact that the Torah and the Injil are abrogated by the Sharia? Why do they need to remove? What happened? What happened there? Is this what the United Nations report meant when promote human rights culture, including the provision of training programs and activities, many which have been conducted, a framework for integrating human rights values into school curriculum in collaboration with the Ministry of Education? Bear in mind, these books, all these books here that are taught in the school are from the Ministry of Education. They're the ones who overlook these books. So why is the Saudi Ministry of Education removing this little bit in the updated version? It's weird. Is there any other stuff that's been removed? That's one thing we need to see. Look, in the 2022 version, Islamic Studies Tafsir, the book, it says here that takeaways from this ayah, that Islam is the religion of justice. Not all Jews and Christians are arrogant. There are some who seek the truth and accept it when they become aware of it. That's not bad, is it? Come on, guys, that's not bad. Not all the Jews and Christians are arrogant, because some of them will accept the truth and they will accept Islam, right? It's not that extreme. It's not that extreme. Come on, extremism. Remember the conference that Ruhaili went to that is combating extremism. Come on, guys, it's not that extreme, is it? Yeah, the new version, they had to remove, not all Jews are arrogant. Islam is religion of justice, the virtue of reciting the Quran in the night prayer. Why remove it? Why remove it? Oh, it's because human rights. You see, Hassan al-Banna's form of Ikhwanism is working very well, whilst these guys are crying about matters in reality, which, where is it? This is World War II. There was another one. Where is it? This is something that's been removed in a lesson on Al Imran, Surah Al Imran, taken from the high school study textbook. It was explained that the mushrikeen carry fear in their hearts in this world, and that the afterlife, their abode will be in hell. The 2023 edition still teaches the verses, but it removed the explanation about the mushrikeen, the polytheists, which is this: إن حال المشركين في الدنيا هو وقوع الخوف في قلوبهم والنار مسكنهم. So it's removed that bit. I don't know why they need to remove that bit. It's the truth. What else has been removed? Let's see. 2019, 2022, 2021, 2022. Let's check this bit, because this is what's been removed from the latest version. Anas reported that a person said, "O Messenger of Allah, how will the disbelievers be gathered on their faces on the day of resurrection?" Thereupon he said, "Is he who is powerful to make them walk on their feet not powerful enough to make them crawl upon their faces?" This was the 2021 edition of this book here. The 2022 edition, they removed it. They removed it. Why? Why? And here, look, it says the ayah teaches us that on the day of resurrection, the kuffar will be carried on their faces, right? This is the older edition. The more recent edition, it says, instead of kuffar, infidels, they changed it to whoever doesn't believe in God and accept the truth in the world. Whoever doesn't believe in God and accept the truth in the world. If you go to a kafir, a Christian, he's going to say, "I do believe in God." You go to the Yahud, he's going to say, "I do believe in God." And then when they say, "Accept the truth in this world," what is the truth? What is the truth? Because the truth can't mean Islam, because if the truth was Islam, you wouldn't have ever changed all of these things. You wouldn't have been changing it. So you can't tell me your definition of the truth is Islam, because Islam doesn't tell you to be changing all of these things in accordance to the desires of the disbelievers. You can't tell me the truth here is Islam. This is it. this is one of the craziest ones here, yeah? The 2022 edition, it said, Islam is the true religion. Al-Islamu huwa deen al-haq. And kullu deen ghayr al-Islam batil. Every other religion other than Islam is batil, is false, is falsehood. So any religion other than Islam is false. In the latest 2023-2024 edition, they removed kull deen ghayr al-Islam batil. They removed all of that. Why did they remove that? Do you not believe that any other religion other than Islam is false? Do you not believe that? Ministry of Education of Saudi Arabia, do you not believe that any other religion other than Islam is batil? Do you not believe that? Why did you remove it? Why is it gone? Why is it only Islam huwa din al-haq? Oh, it's because Islam doesn't even mean what Islam actually means, innit? Because this is the United Nations form of Islam, right? You define Islam differently than the real Muslims, right? What? What happened to kullu deen ghayr al-Islam batil? What happened? So that's some things that's been removed. This is another one. إثم الشرك أعظم من إثم الكذب. The sin of shirk is greater than the sin of lying. That's the truth, right? I'm sure you're a Salafi because you talk about Ruhaili, you talk about Bazmul, you talk about Abdullah, you talk about Salafi, you talk about Mumayyi'in. I'm sure you believe that the ithm of shirk is greater than the ithm of kadhib. Right? So why is it in the 2022 version, it's been removed? This proves that the sin of idolatry is greater than the sin of lying. But why? Why make these little changes of removing this? What is shirk? Anyways, it has to be removed. So going on to the... There's so much. There's just so much. Disbelief is the cause for being thrown out of Allah's mercy and for eternal damnation in hell, yeah? So this is what was mentioned in 2021. In the 2022 version, it's been removed. But is that not the truth? Disbelief is the cause of being thrown out of Allah's mercy. Why remove it? Because you people don't understand what's going on in your own country. You guys don't understand what's going on in your own country. The disbelievers are writing reports, making sure that real change is happening into your country, whilst you're blabbing on and talking and being ignorant and remaining ignorant. So look at this. This is the 2021 version to 2022. They must not kill a soul that Allah that Allah has prohibited to kill إلا بالحق, except by right. أي بحكم شرعي, meaning by the شرعي law issued by the judicial authority, yeah? سلطة القضائية, yeah? But then the latest version, it just says they must not kill a soul Allah has prohibited to kill. What happened to Sharia law? Is it something that, you know, that Saudi prince was talking about when he was talking about development? What happened to Sharia law, man? Why do you need to remove it? If you're so proud of Saudi culture and that apparently the Sharia is part of the Saudi culture, why would you remove this? What happened? What happened? So there's this, it just keeps going on and on and on. This is the most recent version. You know, they just talk about it. And you can download these books. You can literally download the books. Just write in Arabic, type in Arabic, and you can download the 2021 version. I've did it myself to confirm that this is actually real and these people are not lying. And it's actually real. It's very true. You see the changes. The greatest injustice and most severe falsehood is taken. The greatest injustice and most severe, I don't know why they had to take that. Do not benefit nor cause harm. Remove that bit as well. I don't know why you need to... This is your religion that they're changing. These are the books that are being taught to your children in the land of Tawheed and Sunnah. This is the Tawheed and Sunnah that you guys are so proud of. Where is the Tawheed and Sunnah in removing these aspects of the truth? Where is it? Explain to me. Show me in the Quran and Sunnah where the Tawheed and Sunnah is. So it just keeps going on of what they've changed. And these guys that are making this report are actually happy. They're happy that Saudi Arabia is making these changes. They're happy. They're saying you guys are moving, you're developing, you're moving to the right place. Look at all these changing that's happening. So this is the reality that these people don't seem to understand. I see what's going on. I know what's going on. And the only reason why I mention these things to you is so that you're not deceived. You're not misled by certain individuals. And you're not surprised when, for example, you can't go to Hajj and Umrah because you're an extremist, you're a Salafi, you're an extremist, and you can't do Hajj and Umrah because you're an extremist and terrorist, so that you're not surprised and you say, what? I thought Saudi was land of Tawheed and Sunnah, how can Saudi ever do this? I thought Saudi was the place of Salafiyah, how can Saudi do this? I mean, Saudi can do it. Saudi is doing it. They are changing so many things. There are a lot of changes happening. They're proud of it. They're happy of it. They look and back and they say, oh, look at where we were 100 years ago, as if they were in humiliation and disgrace 100 years ago. But now, development, they're developing. What's being developed? What is the development? And I'm not going to really talk about law in Saudi Arabia yet. But all I'm going to tell you is this. The disbelieving law firms, the law firms of the kuffar mujrimeen in the United Kingdom, in London and in America, they are starting to get happy about Saudi Arabia. And they are starting to open up their own bases in Saudi Arabia. Because now laws in Saudi Arabia is going to become codified. And there's not going to be any more need in reality for qudat, like judges. There's no need for judges that are going to come with their own what? They're going to come with their own ijtihadat concerning individual matters that have occurred. No, because Saudi Arabia is going to codify these laws. And now, instead of judges, you're going to have a judge who's going to listen to lawyers. And these lawyers, they're going to say, this is what is being codified by the Saudi state. So the lawyer is going to have to defend the criminal. And the other one's going to try to defend defendant. And that's what's going to happen. That's why the disbelieving law firms are happy about what's going on in Saudi. Because now, law firms, what do? They will help you whether you're a criminal or you're a mujrim. They don't care. As long as they get money, they will help you. And they can't help you in Saudi Arabia because they can't deceive and, get into the mind of the judge. But when the laws become codified and Saudi said whoever commits this crime has to pay a fine of 5,000, the judge has really no say anymore. Saudi have now codified their laws. They've codified the laws, meaning these disbelieving law firms can come into the country, they know what the codified laws are, and like the Jews, they can find ways around those laws. That's what the Jews are known for. That's why they are some of the biggest lawyers on the face of this earth, because their whole purpose is trying to find systems, understand systems, and finding routes around it. That's what the Yehud have done on Saturday when they went concerning the fishes. Till now they do that. That's why they're happy with Saudi codifying laws. So this judge, in reality, can't come up with his own rules anymore. He can't come up with his ijtihadat anymore. He can't come up with any of that. These law firms are going to come in. And when these law firms come in, they're going to say, the Saudi government said it's 15,000. Instead of doing it, you guys need to understand this is a child. Remember, the other Saudi law says childs, they don't have to do this, they don't have to do that. These are how these laws are. So where's the Sharia you're talking about? They're saying, you know what this Osama al-Utaybi said? I wrote it somewhere. Where did I write it quickly? I wrote it somewhere. He said, قول الخوارج, the statement of the Khawarij is that أن السعودية تحكم بالقوانين الوضعية. He said that the statement of the Khawarij is that Saudi Arabia rules by the قوانين الوضعية. Really? So Osama al-Utaybi, can I ask you, codifying laws, is that from the Sharia or is that from قوانين الوضعية? That's been taken from the United Kingdom. Can you answer that question? Is qawaneen al-wad'iyya codifying laws and taking away these positions of judges? Or is that the Sharia? Is removing and changing the truth that's in these books that are taught to the kids? Bear in mind, this is the government organization, the Ministry of Education. Is that the Sharia? Or is that qawaneen al-wad'iyya? Human rights. Sulaiman al-Utaybi. Okay? Sulaiman al-Utaybi is human rights and calling for human rights commissions. Yes? Endorsing institutional frameworks for human rights, national plans and strategies, legal frameworks, fair trials, criminal justice, all of these random things. Is this qawaneen al-wad'iyya? Or is this Sharia? Is this man-made laws or is this Sharia? And
Osama al-Utaybi is so ignorant concerning this matter that he said this is the qawl al-Khawarij because apparently this is what Al-Qaeda used to say. You stupid person, Al-Qaeda say La ilaha illallah. Are you going to say qawl al-Khawarij, La ilaha illallah? You so stupid. This is what angers me so much concerning these people. So what if this is what Al-Qaeda said? Al-Qaeda can speak the truth. So now if anyone says something that Al-Qaeda also said, does that mean that they're Al-Qaeda? No, they're not. Don't be stupid. This is what I mean. Jahl al-Murakkab. These people don't understand. They're so ignorant. They're so ignorant. He says, قول الخوارج أن السعودية تحكم بالقوانين الوضعية قوانين الوضعية قوانين الوضعية. Osama al-Utaybi, well guess what? Guess what? You don't even see what's happening to your country. You don't even see the education is changing. You don't even see the discos that are coming up in the entertainment that's being set around. You don't even see what's happening. You don't even see where the people are being led to and how they're turning away from the truth and they're being pushed towards human rights and peace and unity. You don't even see what's happening. Your own mufti is pushing towards this. The Muslim World League is pushing towards this. Your head of states are pushing towards this. And what are you doing? What are you doing, Osama al-Utaybi? You're just typing on Twitter and making 50 minutes YouTube videos. That is it. That is it. It's crazy. It's crazy. And he says that, the Jews are angered at Saudi Arabia when Saudi make du'as against them. What? What? How is Saudi Arabia angered because some random guy makes dua against Saudi Arabia on the minbar? How are the Jews angered at that? Are you so unaware of the world that you live in? Are you so ignorant of the world that you live in that you think by making dua against the Jews, that's what angers them? That's what angers them. Well, guess what? Let's go back to what's going on in the world quickly. Let me show you. I'll show you quickly. Give me a second. This is why you've got the internet. I mean, Sulaiman al-Utaybi, you're on Twitter all the time. He's on Twitter all the time. If he's on Twitter, it means he's got the internet. It would be good if he learned. So this guy, which let me show you quickly. Here he is. You've seen this guy. This was I think maybe a year or 2 years ago. He went to Medina and he planted a tree in Medina. But who is this guy? You'd think he's just a random person, isn't he? He's just a random guy who went to plant a tree in Saudi Arabia. His name is Rick Sofa. Rick Moshe Sofa. He's a Jew. He's a Jewish person. But he's not just any Jew. He's not like a lower level Jew. He is the CEO of Edmund de Rothschild's company. The Edmund de Rothschild's company. You know about the Rothschilds, right? You know about the Jewish Rothschilds, don't you? He is the CEO of the Edmund de Rothschilds planting a tree in Medina. So you think the Jewish people are angry because you're making dua against them when they're planting trees in Medina? That's the difference between your mindset and their mindset. You're complaining and saying they're angry on their YouTube, on their platforms, whilst they're planting trees in your cities. Planting the tree in your city. Not only that, when you go here and you look Edmund de Rothschild Company, Edmund de Rothschild Company in Saudi. In Saudi. Edmund, this is 14th of June, okay? This is not a long time ago. This is not a long time ago. This is the 14th of June. Edmund de Rothschild will open up a shop in Saudi Arabia and unveil an infrastructure debt platform in a joint venture with local advisory firm Water Partners, yeah? Edmund de Rothschild is going to launch a debt platform in Saudi Arabia. They will open up in Saudi. This was made on the 14th of June. They came up, yeah? The Jews are apparently angry at Saudi Arabia. The Jews apparently hate Saudi Arabia. If the Jews hate Saudi Arabia and they're so angry at Saudi Arabia, why are they going up and opening shops in Saudi Arabia? Why are they planting trees in Medina? Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? Because you people are so fooled by words. You haven't grown up yet. where you can understand that words should not be fooling you. You haven't reached that level of intellect and knowledge where there's more to life than words. There's something called actions, and you can't seem to see the actions going on here. He said the Jews are angry. No, they're not angry. How are the Jews angry? The Rothschilds are some of the heads of the Jews. Who founded and paid for Israel? The Rothschilds. When you look at the Balfour Agreement, who did the UK Prime Minister write to? He said, I'll show you the Balfour Declaration quickly. Balfour Declaration. And you go here, images. And he goes here. This is the Balfour Declaration. Where is it? Okay, I don't know why it's so small. Let's go and visit this. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying on behalf of His Majesty's government the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the cabinet. Lord Rothschild, that's crazy. It's almost as if this is the same Rothschild that are opening up in Saudi Arabia. Edmund the Rothschild is one of the biggest Rothschild companies there is. They've got other ones because there's another Rothschild company in Saudi. It's this company, Rothschild & Co. announces the opening of its new office in Riyadh today as part of its strategic expansion in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. If the Jews hate you so much, why are the heads of the Jews, or some of the heads of the Jews, expanding into your country? That is mental. I mean, those are not the only Jews. Do you know which other Jews are there? These are some of the most influential Jews that are there. BlackRock is in Saudi Arabia. BlackRock is in Saudi Arabia. Why is BlackRock in Saudi Arabia? BlackRock to open a Saudi investment firm with 5 billion asset management. BlackRock will launch an investment platform in Riyadh. BlackRock, now you go to BlackRock and you write BlackRock founders. These are all the founders, okay? These, Larry Fink, Susan Wagner, Robert Capito, whatever other people here, Jewish, and 100% sure everyone else here, the moment you see a Stein is Jewish. Jewish. Why are Jewish people, apparently they hate Saudi Arabia so much, why are they investing so much in Saudi Arabia? Why? This is the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. Look, this is the government website, pif.government.saudi Arabia. BlackRock signs agreement with the Public Investment Fund to accelerate growth of capital markets in Saudi Arabia. What? Don't talk to me about the Jews hating you. They don't hate you. Don't talk to me about Jews hating you and Jews are angry. But of course, when people don't understand, this is what occurs. So the whole point of me telling you this is don't be deceived, number one. Don't fall into taqreed, number two. Don't fall into hizbiyya, number three. Don't fall into deception, number four. Don't be surprised when you're not allowed to do hajj and umrah because you're a Salafi, you're a Muslim, muwahid. And don't be surprised when more corruption comes out from Saudi Arabia. And the reason, look, people say only the people of bid'ah talk about Saudi Arabia. Why do you talk about Saudi Arabia? Why don't you talk about Pakistan and Turkey? That is the level of intellect they have. The reason why Saudi Arabia is talked about is because Saudi Arabia is the hub for the Muslim Ummah. Where do the Muslims go to for Hajj? They're not going Turkey. They're not going Somalia. They're not going Pakistan and India. They're going to Saudi Arabia, mate. About why are you talking about Saudi Arabia? I only care about Hajj and Umrah. I don't care I only care about Makkah and Medina. I don't care about anything else. I only care about Makkah and Medina. And guess what? Guess who's overlooking Makkah and Medina? Guess who's overlooking Makkah and Medina? These are the people. That's what I care about. When I speak about Saudi, I'm talking about these matters that are going to influence the Muslim Ummah from around the whole entire world. Talking about, why only the people of Bid'ah talk about Saudi. Only the Khawarij talk about Saudi. Only the Sufis talk about Saudi. Everyone hates Saudi. Don't be stupid. The people of corruption love Saudi. That's why they're building bases in Saudi. That's why they're seeing all these changes in the education in Saudi. That's why they're seeing all of these developments going on in Saudi. They're loving it. They love it. They're happy with it. They just made these little factions and groups of people who supposedly hate Saudi just so you feel deceived and become deceived. By Allah, how will these people survive the fitna of Dajjal? Wallahi wa billahi wa tallahi, I do not know how these people will survive the fitna of Dajjal. They are being played around with by little things, little organizations, little groups. The United Nations are little. They're being kicked around by little groups of people. What is their state when Dajjal comes? You don't know nothing about COVID. You don't know nothing about the United Nations. You don't know nothing about what's going on in the world. So what is going to happen when Dajjal comes? Who's going to help these people? Because clearly they can't help themselves. If you're being deceived by the occult of the Muslim Brotherhood, then I don't know what's left to say. I really don't. I don't know what's left to say. And the reason why they're moving so fast and they're moving so quick is because these people are so ignorant. That's why they're so ignorant. It's very easy to move with corruption when the supposed people of knowledge are ignorant. It's very easy to move very quick. So safeguard yourselves. Safeguard yourselves. Make dua. Make dua and ask Allah, oh Allah, purify the land of Mecca and Medina from all those that intend harm for the Muslims, from all those who intend to implement the laws of the disbelievers, from all those who intend to stop the Muslims from going to Hajj, from the Muslims to stop the Muslims from going to Umrah. Oh Allah, make dua. Oh Allah, purify that land. Oh Allah, purify that land. Saudi, that land over there, is actually a very noble place, and it has very influential affairs to do with the end of times. The Prophet ﷺ said that Banu Tamim tribe is the most severest and harshest against the Dajjal. And who are Banu Tamim? Where are they from? That tribe is in Saudi Arabia. But the Prophet also told us that groups of people will go back to worshipping idols. And do you know how that's going to happen, guys? Because the Saudi government is working alongside UNESCO, and what are they working towards? Preserving their heritage. What was the heritage of that land? Shirk and idol worshipping. So they're going to dig up under the ground and they're going to try to find all these things that used to be worshipped before. They're going to be put in little museums. Yeah, they're going to be put in museums. And if you dare speak out against it, you're an extremist. How dare you talk about our culture? Don't you know our culture is one of women that used to be worshipped before? So don't be surprised, don't be shocked. Saudi Arabia is a beautiful land in terms of the tribes of the people that are going to be severest against the fitna of Dajjal. It's beautiful in the aspect of this is where the Prophet ﷺ was born. It's beautiful in the aspect of this is where the companions were born and this is where Islam spread from. It's beautiful because this is where the Haram is in Mecca and Medina. This is what it's beautiful for. Likewise, Al-Aqsa is beautiful due to these matters of being blessed. Allah has blessed these lands. But that doesn't mean that we are going to be deceived by what's going on. The smart person is the one who's able to see what's about to happen before it even happens. Forget about these people being able to see what's about to happen before it happens. They don't even know what's happened 50 years ago. They're still behind 50 years, let alone what's going on now. They're still lost in the olden days. So, may Allah purify that land and keep it firm and upright and open the eyes of its people and reignite the truth and revive the truth, the wisdom, the purity of Islam, the Sharia, okay, not human rights laws, not human rights declaration, none of this, none of that. Sharia of Islam, which is hatred for the kuffar, which is hatred for the mushrikeen, which is what? Hatred for evil. So may Allah revive that. May Allah grant the people protection from the whirlwind of corruption, from football and parties and discos and music concerts and games and internet and media, social media. May Allah protect them from that, protect them from all forms of evil and corruption. May Allah protect them and protect the young children from education systems that keep changing the truth and keep removing the truth such that it will reach a point where the truth is not even going to be taught. And these are innocent little children that are just going to educations and places that they're going to be taught things, and they're little kids, they're just innocent people, they don't know. But the parents should know. And the parents don't know. Because the people that the parents look up to are so-called scholars, and they don't know themselves. So if they don't know, and then the parents don't know, then what's going to happen to the kids? May Allah have mercy upon those kids and protect them and safeguard them from all of this evil, and safeguard us from all of this evil, because the matter is getting very severe, it's getting very harsh, it's getting very, very difficult for the Muslim Ummah. May Allah make it easy for them and make it easy for us. We don't call for and say, go and kill Saudi's rulers and go and spill bloodshed, revolution. We need a communist, we need a Bolshevik revolution in Saudi Arabia. We don't call for that one bit. But likewise, we don't call for praising the person every single, oh, did you see how he moved? Oh, may Allah preserve him. May Allah preserve him. May Allah preserve him. Really? Really? May Allah preserve the heads of people that are pushing towards this change to, in reality, is not Islam, is in reality the United Nations form of Islam. You want Allah to preserve those people. But I mean, of course, you're going to make dua for certain groups of people like that, because you don't even understand. When you don't understand, you just make dua against yourself and you don't even know. So, we are not deceived. We don't call for corruption, but we also don't call for being deceived. We see what's going on. We clarify to the people what's going on. We tell the people, preserve yourself and honor yourself, and tell the people the truth of what's going on. But Sulaiman al-Uthaybi, what will happen to you the moment you start speaking? You know, Sulaiman al-Uthaybi, what's going to happen to you when you start speaking out against the Human Rights Commission of Saudi Arabia, a government organization? You talk about the KACIID, which is also a government organization, and you start to talk about Markaz al-Harb al-Fikri, which is the intellectual warfare affiliated to the Ministry of Defense, again, Saudi organization, Saudi government organization. What is going to happen to you the moment you start to clarify the Ikhwanism of Abdul Aziz, the head of the Mufti, the head Mufti of Saudi Arabia? What is then going to happen? What is going to happen to you, Osama al-Utaybi? I just wonder what's going to happen to you. I wonder what's going to happen to you. Are you going to be called an Ikhwani, a Khariji, Ikhwanji? What is it going to be? Yep. I wonder. So, may Allah have mercy on the people who don't know. They talk as if their words are influential. They talk as if their words are influential. And they talk as if their labels truly mean something that's going to be, you know, influential to my lives. It's not. You can call me a Khariji. You've called many people Kharijis before. Nothing's really going to happen. You can call a person a fool. Nothing's really going to happen. What's going to happen is if it's a truthful statement. The reality is, a lot of the time, it's not a truthful statement. It's not. You know, the tongue is so khafif. It's so light when it comes to Sayyid Qutb's sides of Ikhwanism. Khafif, jiddan. It's so light. Ikhwanji, Khariji, ISIS, Daesh, Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, boom, 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 boom. So easy. But the moment it comes to Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh, the moment it comes to Saudi government organizations, the moment it comes to human rights, United Nations, the moment it comes to Hassan al-Banna's Ikhwanism, oh, it's heavy. It's heavy. It's thaqeel, jiddan. It's heavy for the tongue. It's very heavy. Why? Because it's Hizbiyah. This is the blindness of Hizbiyah. It blinds you to the haqq and the truth. That's why Sheikh Muqbil did like an hour lecture just talking about Hizbiyah and how it's one of the most dangerous forms of misguidance and heresies that is upon us in this world today. Because you know who ultimately believes in Hizbiyah? The United Nations believe in Hizbiyah. They believe that you either accept their United Nations form of Islam or they're going to wage war against you. If you are with them, they will put you above the clouds. If you're against them, they will target you and they will try to kill you and they will try to harm you. That is the epitome of Hizbiyah. The United Nations pure form of Hizbiyah. And it trickles down into these individuals. It trickles down into these groups of people. It trickles down and down and down and down. That's why they can't answer these questions. They can't answer these questions. Let me go to, I think I wrote a few points down. If you're ever in doubt concerning these people, where is it? Is it May? May, yeah. Give me a second. Saudi, number one, Saudi as a state has been connected with Ikhwanism since 1960s. They won't be able to answer that question. Because Ikhwanism is not only Sayyid Qutb's side, Ikhwanism is also Hassan al-Banna's side. MWL, the Muslim World League, was founded with the aid of who? Saeed Ramadan. Saeed Ramadan was married to the daughter of Hassan al-Banna. Saeed Ramadan is one of the biggest Ikhwanis. Saeed Ramadan was involved in many European countries, Switzerland, spreading Ikhwanism around. Saeed Ramadan is the husband of Hassan al-Banna's daughter. He is the son-in-law of Hassan al-Banna, one of the heads of Ikhwanism, okay? And he's the one who helped find the Muslim World League in Saudi Arabia. So Saudi as a state has been connected with Ikhwanism since 1960s. None of these Salafis can argue against that. None of these Salafis can fight against it. You can't fight against the truth. You can't fight against the truth, no matter how much you like. Number two, the former Saudi head of state, meaning the Saudi king, Abdullah, he opened up a center for dialogue called KAICIID, which I showed you. And this calls for interfaith, which is kufr, and it calls for human rights, which are pure disbelief and kufr as well. They can't argue against that. They can't argue against their former head of state that they're trying so hard to defend. They can't argue that he has a center for dialogue that calls for kufr. Can't argue against that. Number three, Muslim World League calls to interfaith, which is pure disbelief and is affiliated with the current heads of state. Many of their documents, the Muslim World documents, have been signed by the Saudi rulers. And the Saudi rulers are affiliated with the Muslim World League. The Muslim World League calls to interfaith. It calls to all of these forms of disbelief. They can't argue against that one bit. They cannot argue against the truth. Let it burn you. Let the truth burn your inside. Because you thought, you know, Saudi is a land of Tawheed and Sunnah, and whoever speaks against Saudi is a Khariji, is Ikhwani, Ikhwanji. You know, Saudi is all good. No, bro, you can't argue and fight against this truth here. You can't argue, point number 4, that Saudi Defense Ministry is affiliated to the Markaz al-Harb al-Fikri, which is the intellectual warfare center, which explains the saved sect, i.e. Salafiyya, as extremist. You can't argue against that. Don't argue with me. Don't try to come refute me. Go and refute the Saudi Defense Ministry, the organization they're affiliated to. Go and argue against them. Go and argue against them and rebuke them and refute them. Don't come to me. I'm just telling you what they're saying. Number 5, the Saudi Mufti Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh, he gathers in sittings with the people of Bid'ah and he commends such gathering. Defending this in truth is in reality defending Ikhwanism, and that's the reality. The head of the Saudi Mufti is in reality supporting and pushing Ikhwanism in that country. So what are you going to say about that? Look at that. They're going to become the biggest mumayyi'een, the biggest form of tamyi'. You're going to see the water dripping, drip, 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 drip. All the principles are going to be dripping out. Drip, drip, drip. All the principles. What happened to the principle of sitting with the people of Bid'ah? It's going to all become wishy-washy, wishy-washy, wishy-washy. Why? Why are your principles becoming wishy-washy? Because of hizbiyya. Because your principles are not lillah. They're not for the sake of Allah. They're not rooted in the Quran and Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Your principles are rooted in individuals and names and labels and people. And the moment your people, Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh, is exposed, the principles, you start to show your true ugly faces. You show your true ugly faces. You try to hide your ugly faces by going to the world and telling the people, oh, we're Salafis, we're upon the manhaj of the Salaf. Oh, the Salaf. Oh, do you know about the Salaf? Oh, do you know about Abdullah ibn Aoun? Do you know about Muhammad bin Sirin? You know, oh, Muhammad bin Sirin, he said, indeed, this knowledge is your religion, so look to who you take your religion from. Muhammad Sirin did this, Bukhari did this. They try to put that beautiful face, but the reality is you have an ugly face, and your ugly face is exposed when your principles start to break, just because people like Abdul Aziz al-Sheikh have been exposed. And number 6, the 6th point that they can never ever defend against, unless they are disbelievers, number 1, or unless they are people of heresy, number 2, or unless they can't. There's no other point. You're either a munafiq or you're either a disbeliever if you try to defend against these points, because the 6th point is the Saudi state has a human rights commission that supports human rights, i.e. the laws that have been set by the United Nations, the Human Rights Declaration of the United Nations, which are laws of corruption, laws made by the disbelievers. The Saudi state, i.e. the Saudi government, has the Human Rights Commission. You can't argue against that. Go argue against them. Do you defend the Human Rights Commission? Do you defend human rights? Do you defend gender equality? I thought you guys were against LGBTQ people. What happened? What happened? So slowly, you're going to be supporting gender equality. So slowly, you're going to support women working in the workplace. Slowly, you're going to be supporting children being indoctrinated in schools. Slowly, then what's left? I'm not surprised if you guys are going to start supporting LGBTQ people. I won't be surprised if you will be supporting LGBTQ people. You try to put this beautiful face of Salafiyya, the haqq, the truth, the manhaj of the Salaf, the principles. These are the qawa'id and the usul of Salafiyya. The guy is talking about qawa'id, usul of Salafiyya, and then later on you see him in conferences with the people of bid'ah and women are walking all around. It's crazy, isn't it? That is crazy. I thought, you know what, yeah, I can keep talking and on and on and on. But I'm going to keep it with those 6 points I mentioned. Those 6 points, they will never, ever be able to answer against it. And that is the truth. And if they defend human rights and the United Nations laws and the charters of the United Nations, and they support these gender equalities and all these socialist disbelieving laws, if they support this, then best believe you need to know who they are siding with. They are not siding with the Muslims. They are exposing their ugly faces to the world, and that they are with the people of corruption, and they are the ones who are aiding. They are the ones who are aiding the corruption happening in the land of the Haramain, Mecca and Medina. I mean, do you guys not remember this? Let me try to show it to you quickly. Do you guys remember this? I posted this maybe a month or two ago. Look at this, yeah? I'll show you. Do you remember this post? Zulfikar, on their Instagram post, they shared this statement. The custodian of Al-Haramain Al-Sharifain, King Salman Hafidhahullah, he said, there is absolutely no place among us for extremists who sees moderation as decadence and exploits our tolerant aqidah to achieve his goals. They thought this is a nice thing that he said. Let's post this on Instagram. You foolish, ignorant people. There is no place for, absolutely no place amongst foreign extremists. Do you not even know who an extremist is? You are the extremist. Do you not understand? You are the extremist. Do you not understand? You are the extremist. Do you not understand? There's no place for you. But you're so stupid. You think it's not against you, so you're going to post it out to make it out like it's not against you, when in reality it is against you, but you don't have the intellect to understand that it's against you. Your country seeks to improve its present, build its future, and move forward on the path of development. Wow. Modernization. Wow. Continuous improvement in a way that does not conflict with its principles. Really? Really? So, if it's not going to conflict with its principles, why do they keep changing the books in the education system? Why do they keep removing the truth from the books in the education system if it's not going to be conflicting with their principles? Because people like you, Zulfikar, and people like these people that are always in love with Saudi Arabia, they're so dumb and stupid because they see words and they think words, he said this, but they don't actually understand what's going on. They don't see the actions that's going on. They're fooled by words. They're like they're almost women-like. You know, they're almost women-like. You just tell them a few words and they fall in love. You tell them a few words and, you know, they fall in love. They fall in love. They're like all over you because of a few words he said. But the reality is, it's not about words. It's about what? Actions. That's what it's about. So, you know, may Allah have mercy upon us. They're so dumb. Like, they don't even know what any of this actually means. They just post it. They don't know what's going on. These are supposedly the people of knowledge and wisdom. Clearly not. But may Allah have mercy upon us. Share this to anyone. Share this to all of these people. Let them hear it. Let them speak about it. And let them try rebuke it and refute it. And one way, I I have an idea of how they're going to try rebuke this. They're going to go and say, Sheikh, he started speaking against Saudi Arabia, Sheikh, and he started doing this, and then the Sheikh clearly doesn't know himself. He's going to say Khariji, he's a Khariji, he's an Ikhwanji. I've literally clarified everything that you need to hear, bro, but clearly it's not enough for them. So that's the only weapons they have. And guess what? They're going to start labeling, they're going to start giving words and names, and guess what? Nothing much is going to change. I'm going to sleep well at night. Alhamdulillah, life is going to proceed forward. And I'm going to keep clarifying this to the people. And they can cry about it if they want. They can be sad about it if they want. They can go cry to their parents if they want. But the reality is, I will keep moving forward, inshallah, and keep clarifying to the people and call whatever labels you want to call. But at the end of the day, that is it. At the end of the day, that is it. Your labels are useless and worthless. That's why you can't even stop us coming. That's why you can't even stop us coming. And I'll leave you with that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.